Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all doing fantastic. Let's just share this with our lovely community. Yes, so as you may suggest, or may read, we're adding hopefully different types of billboards. I think this is going to be like an appropriate spent time, because I'm going to spend probably quite a lot of time building particle systems. Let me just get up the chat. And so let's show you guys where we're up to, right? Okay, so last night I did a little extra work. I guess this can be considered programming, and we have let's see, a billboard, right? Now if I go around it, it always faces us. Now obviously one billboard floating in space is not the best, but now this is stuck to the XY plane of the camera, which is cool. Ignore the CPU, it's doing a bunch of physics simulations we are just not rendering. Right, okay, so yes, we have a glowing dot that looks like a sphere, but is not a sphere. It's just a circle, and these are great billboards due to the fact that they fake a sphere and just a texture, and so it saves a bit of memory. Spheres are kind of annoying to do. This will be a particle. It's not a perfect sphere. Sorry, a billboard. I have been reviewing some maths today. So, additionally, what I've been doing outside of the stream is I sorted out my notes. As you probably remember yesterday, I was struggling to find things. If you were here, anyway. And we got everything I kind of got everything kind of nailed down where all my resources had disappeared off to. So we do have everything that we need again. So if I open up my graphics theory stuff, didn't have any of the maths here. Let's remove a space. And yeah, so I've been reviewing a bunch of stuff. I have a feeling today we're going to do a bunch of studying before we add anything to the game engine. The reason I was a bit late today on the stream as well is I was cleaning up my hard drive. And yeah. My hard drive, I had like 20 gigs left of my hard drive, which was probably going to cause some issues in the future. So I deleted a bunch of stuff, and right now we are operating on much less junk. As you can see, look at my lovely hard drive with 93 gigs. This was like red with 20 gigs left. So hello Mabdo, how you doing, dude? And yeah, so that's where we are on here. Cleaned up some stuff. We have billboards to do. So, direction of the stream. What should we be doing today? I am, like I said yesterday, interested in becoming a better programmer. Who would have guessed? So, we are probably going to do some studying today. And then we're going to be slowly adding the billboards in. That are different types. Or at least just understanding billboards a bit better. So yes, it's going to be a bit of a note-taking stream today, and excuse me, and that is what I mentioned. Yes, that's what we meant to do. I hope so. This is for my older audience. I hopefully I don't feel like excluding anyone, but I hope everyone who has been in my community for let's just say after the. Before the latest video got released, I hope you're all adjusting to the new amount of people in the Discord server. I hope that the change isn't too disruptive for you guys. I know it's sometimes change can be unpleasant, but I hope you guys are dealing with that okay. Because I don't want you guys to be feel like everything's changing. Nothing's going to change. It's going to be the same old escape point doing the same old stuff. We're just going to have a few more people around. That's basically it. I will mention, it seems like some of the AI bros have found the video. But, it is what it is. And, yeah, nothing to worry about. Nothing to really mention. It has been absolutely a shock, just to hop on this video just a bit. Like, how much this resonated with people. Hi, Dimitri. Yeah, I'm good. I was thinking about this again. I know we're thinking about this a lot, and I had like a conclusion yesterday, and now I have another conclusion. But it's more of an observation, really. I'm a bit of an outsider when it comes to No, I haven't got any threatening letters. Nothing like that. Just dismissive comments, but effectively. Nothing should I should ever be concerned about. But I think why this has shocked me so much and has surprised me that I'm still getting comments about on this video is because I honestly feel like an outsider when it comes to my programming. I don't really know what's going on in the wider world of programming, and I think what ended up happening is I accidentally made the video about something that was let's turn this down just a touch, that is highly debated, I guess would be the correct word, maybe. So that was a surprise. 6-7, nice video on how to learn to program. Yeah, thank you for I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. Honestly, I did make it for the people who are serious about software engineering. So yes, if you did find it useful, I'm very happy. That's the reason I made it. Sometimes it happens in the programming world. So Dimitri, so for those who don't speak Russian, I will read out what Dimitri says, which is she just said some things now. So I'll just read these out. So Dimitri has said, sometimes some things. So sometimes it happens in the programming world. I can describe it in detail. Do you need it? I should be okay. I think I get the idea. I think I just what what it feels like. This is how it feels like. I feels like I walked into a room full of debating people all at once, right? Like everyone was shouting at each other, and I'm like, oh, whoops. That's effectively what it felt like. I literally made that last video for two people that I had in mind, which often I won't name who, no spoilers. For the people who sometimes come into live stream and ask, how do I get good at C++? Loud noises. Exactly. So lots of the first comment was translated incorrectly. I meant like oh, I see. Yes, something is depressing happening in the programming world. Yes, I actually agree with that, Dimitri. Yes, unfortunately, sometimes Dimitri's translator doesn't translate. But anyway, we're just going to do what we usually do. Nothing's going to change for us. We are still here. We are still going to code and discover new graphics techniques and struggle on maths and not understand things like we usually do in the usual way. So, yes, so for anyone who's like, kind of, the change is a bit strange. And anyone who's come new, by the way, you're also very welcome in here and to join us in what we do on these live streams, which is very much struggling to get things to work and, finally getting to work, which just for those who don't know, I am doing Billboards today. So it is great that I've got a load more people and you're all very welcome, but for the new people, nothing's going to change. We're just here to do exactly the same as we usually do. Yes, I haven't sold out. Mesmo has said, I've been going over networking in C++, but a lot of it making use of C POSIX, and I've never done anything in C, so sometimes it's hard to yes, I can imagine. Yeah, POSIX is and C++ is driving you nuts. Yeah, I feel like POSIX C is tough because it's like pre C++ standard C threading when it comes to like all that kind of stuff, and with networking you effectively need threading. There's no real escape. So yeah, so I can see how difficult it is to find good resources in these things. So I am going to clean up my repository just a touch. I think what we need to do just before we begin, before we take any more notes on things, what I need to do is interesting. Oh yes, we didn't want to delete anything. Hang on. Do I want to leave this in? I'm going to uncomment these for now. The reason is I don't want to commit these things commented, so I'm just going to commit something to our space branch, which is our current development branch. If you're unfamiliar with our project, it is we have a development branch which we're currently on called the space branch. It's the thing's linked in the description if you want to actually check out the code. So the Void engine has two branches. It has the master branch, which is always behind the development branch, which is called space. We're making a space game. That's why it's called space. And yeah, that's what we're up to. I'm just gonna make sure. So I'm just gonna make sure like I want to commit. These are the things I want to commit. So I'm just gonna go through bit by bit. I could do a diffing tool, but it's small enough that I can just click through. Yeah, so I don't think there's anything that interesting here. What I will do is reduce the number of entities. I think. Actually, I never actually tried that. Let me before we continue, actually, let me just do something a little like completely different for a minute. I just want to see if originally this is 4,444. So okay, that is 4,444, and now I'm just going to see if setting the size, assuming that I'm going to render everything. So we'll bring back the main menu, as we usually do. So Dimitri has said, in short, newbies try to write, in short, newbies try to write, and in short, they end up like a bot, end up with a bot. Many products with confident owners have appeared on the internet, and they usually sell. Neural synthesized ideas from normal distribution. In this sense, bots allow us to parse normal distribution of ideas and text sort of statistically, but the world doesn't work that way. That's why it looks like psychosis. I kind of like that. I kind of like that zeitgeist kind of feel to what's going on in the programming world. Yeah, okay. I can jive with that. That's newbies end up bots. Everyone ends up because a lot of people end up with. I think the real definition of the Dunning-Kruger effect is not what I'm about to say, but I think it's common for the Dunning-Kruger effect to set in to programmers who are new when they have access to these tools. But anyway, that's neither here nor there really, if the Dunning-Kruger exists. But I think that's where there's a bit of not very confidence. Hello again, False Chlorine. How you doing, dude? Hope you're having a great day. Hope everyone's having a great day, honestly, if I haven't said that already. But yeah, I'm just going to focus on you guys no matter what happens. Oh yes, I forgot. I may have broken something, but let's fix. Right. I know why. So that's actually good. I tested before I committed because I've broken the main menu, which is very easy to fix. But so if I go into the main, which is where everything's kind of chilling, and we go into the main renderer. Where's our 2D renderer at? And I believe I set up a flag effectively. So I'm going to look for this flag setting thing. I did this in the game. The game obviously is using Billboards, not a UI 2D renderer. So if we go to game and we look for what we're interested in, which is, where's our renderer gone? So yes, we build UI. How do we know which one's which? So we have two different. Okay. So load textures. Where's this flag? We set a flag somewhere, and I can't quite remember where the flag is set. Right. Okay. So we lazily set it here just because we were going to do that later, and today is later. So yes, what I'll do is I'll just have a boolean here, and you know what I could probably do instead? Put this in an enum. Do I want to do that? Yeah, I'll do that actually. I'm going to do that. So enum, and do we have a way of doing this without our data? Hang on. I just wonder if we can work it out via texture atlases. No, I feel like they will eventually be decoupled because I think there's going to be more texture atlases than just 2. So yes, right now this is going to be a 1-to-1, but I don't think this mapping is going to stick around. So, so what this is, by the way, is just I need a way to distinguish between a 2D renderer that's going to render in an orthographical projection and a 2D renderer that's going to do something like a particle effect. And to work that out, I've got a flag. And it changes what we do in the vertex shader because it's very, very simple. It's very, very different. Sorry, the code is very, very basic, so it's not exactly that interesting. But if we're doing UI, we just do this. If we're doing billboards, then we do this, right? It's like a very simple. It's not branchless anymore, but because the 2D render is quite simple and we're only dealing with a rectangle, I feel like it was safe to save on graphics, Vulkan graphics pipelines versus having a branchless shader. Due to the fact that the shader is very simple, right? It's operating. It doesn't even have an index buffer. We have hard coded the index buffer in. We have the vertices hard coded in because we're just dealing with rectangles. So that's an optimization right there. So yes, now I just need to name this properly. This would be 2D renderer type, I guess. Renderer 2D type. And we're going to throw that there. So this is what this flag's about, if you're curious. This is a... obviously, we're not going to use context bear. I'm going to format this properly. This just allows us to access the... so, what should we call this? And this will be a proper mask, so we're not going to have anything like this down here. We're just going to bit shift up as we have more different types of 2D renderers. I assume that this won't explode into something insane. I think right now, at the very least, we've got something that's quite straightforward, so... okay, so I usually like to caps these. So UI... So 2D UI flag, I think I'm going to say 2D UI flag. Something like that, right? Not frag. Definitely not that. Oh, right, okay. I was hoping that we could get away with that. So, yes, we're just going to have to append everything with 2D. Billboard flag. Because it's not a class-based enum, we have to make sure that the names are all the same, are all unique. That's why it's a bit... The name is a little clumsy, admittedly, but with an enum, we have a bit more kind of like control over what we're... Well, it's a little easier to figure out what we're doing. So this is debug. I'll write this in. Debug texture. Fantastic. Okay, so when we load our buffers, which happen at the end, we need to be able to say, okay, what was the enum called? Okay, so render 2D type, just kind of like this, and now obviously that doesn't exist. Hopefully IntelliSense knows what we want to do. Yep. And now we can set the type. Cool. Yeah, and I found the best way of doing this, by the way, last night was, because this is a higher level thing, it's per scene. I was like, well, you know, we can just rely on the fact that this is a global for the whole, for every instance of a vertex and every instance of a fragment shader, I guess, as well, if we needed that, which we don't because we're doing very basic stuff at the moment. 2D renders are much simpler, so our fragment shader is much simpler than the 3D one, which is chill. Right, okay, so let's get out of here, and what we want to do next is... Oh, that's true, actually. We don't need this anymore. This is overkill. because it turns out you need... So we're going to improve our... We haven't quite finished with our billboard right now. We can't actually change the position. It's hard-coded right now, so... What I'm going to do is I'm going to find a way to get the data that we need in here for the two different types, at least, that I want to implement today, which is spherical billboards, which is just a square, if you imagine that, or a cylindrical one, which is just basically a rectangle. You know, you can imagine like a long rectangle. It's just kind of differently. It's handled differently. The maths is a little different. Billboard bad. Hi Bart, how you doing, dude? Yes, billboard bad. Well, it's bad if you can't if you can tell. So yeah, it turns out a lot of our maths can be greatly simplified, which is very nice. Right. Okay. So we have what's in Skybox? What did I change? Oh, nothing. I keep looking at it thinking, what did I do? Right. So type, and we need to go to game. Game, which is not here. It is here. Fantastic. And our load buffers should start complaining. So this was called UI flag, like 2D. Yep. So, oh, no, this is completely wrong. We actually want the other one, right? The billboard fella. And we got the UI one for... hello, good evening. The Boora, how you doing, dude? Good to see you, my man. Hopefully you're having a good day. Right, so we need to go to our menu code, our lovely menuing code. I made some horror game, and I made some billboards when they followed me, and I was freaked out. Yeah, I mean, that's funny you mentioned that, actually. I was, as a kid, a bit of a scaredy cat, admittedly. And I got absolutely terrified of the ghost level in the Rugrats PlayStation 1 game, The Search for Riptar, because of the billboards that were the ghosts. And I didn't know I could press a button to turn on the torch. No, or flashlight if you're American. So, yeah, I got like completely freaked out by billboards too. But when I was a kid, I did anything I could to not play that level because it was too scary. I think I was like 9 or 10 at the time. It's a funny game. I'm feeling a bit sore. Oh, that sucks. How come you're feeling sore? Hopefully it's not permanent. Hello, Kalia. How you doing, dude? Good to see you again. Yeah, it's going good. We're a little hot today. I think the UK has started to be has just began to be hit by a. It's just begun to be hit by a heat wave. Yes, that's the word. Right. So I need to concentrate just for a touch moment. So let's go to main menu. There we go. That's what I need to do. Main menu, and then paste that in. Actually get the right one this time. 2D, and we should have everything working as usual. So we should have our terrible menu. Oh, sour, right, okay. Right, so that's good. We have our crappy little 2D menu. And now we should... Interesting. Okay, so it looks like we've run out of space. Yeah, this is interesting. The physics engine just died on us. I think that's because... Yeah, I think that's... Okay, so this is the thing I wanted to test as well. If I go to physics... Real quick... I haven't had the chance to try 3D box 3D. The Boora. Sometimes I feel stupid. Like, well, you know, you're in good company. I often feel that way. There's nothing wrong with that. It's often a learning experience. That's what I like to take it away as, anyway. What am I doing? I'm going to the 2D renderer. And... Oh, yes. We've got a lot more collision detections happening. I think that's also not helping. And we need to go to scene. Right, so I want to check something real quick. 88888. and go to our debug performance thingy. And I'm just going to remove this and kind of remove these two. And I think we're rendering everything in game, so let's just make sure that we are. Yes, pretty much. Okay, so we just disabled the player. That's pretty much all we did. Yeah, it's like a cool physics engine. Great work, by the way. Like low-level stuff, fantastic. Yeah, I'm glad you like my stuff. Like, let's see, does this still work or does it break? This breaks because of. Right. Okay, so we got this last time. I remember. Right. I think we might have to take a break on Billboards and try and figure this out. But I want to just see. I think this. I don't know if this completely breaks everything. So let me just see what type of error this is. Okay, so we just get a barrier because yes, we are accessing something. I think what we need to do here is because we've got a 2D renderer and another 2D renderer. We're not setting up any synchronization between the two, so I think that's what we need to work out. It is written in C. Oh, is it? Yeah, that's nice. It is faster than Joy. Are you talking about the 2D? Sorry, Box 3D. Did you try Rust and Bevy? I've heard of Bevy and I know of Rust. I've heard of both of them, obviously, and I don't know much about how to implement things. I've pretty much written C++ enough that I'm comfortable with it, right? So I don't feel the need to switch, despite it being kind of like a bit of a, hydra, if I put it that way, with 1,000 different things to know. But most of my code is very C-like, C++. I just kind of like steal. That's what it feels like anyway. I'm stealing like aspects of. So if I disable the. I'm just going to turn off the 2D renderer just for a bit. No, that's stupid. What I want to do is, yes, copy this. So for the most part, I am. Yes, I'm just going to turn off all this. And just see if we get the same issue again. And then we're just going to basically make sure that. I don't know if we should do a lazy synchronization or spend a lot of time trying to get this to work. I'm kind of on the fence about that. But I think. Let's see. I kind of want to test. Interesting. No, it's not that. Okay. Is it the size? I might have run out of memory here. I don't know. Python never backfires on me. Python sometimes becomes disgusting. Well, sometimes I remember watching Casey Moritori's video on like performance, like his introduction to performance-aware programming, and I think he disassembled. He downloaded the source code for the Python interpreter and kind of stepped through everything bit by bit to explain the waste that happens in his in Python when you just want to add two numbers together. I think, if I remember correctly, there is 128 assembly instructions for one add, or something like that, which is kind of crazy. Let me just get some water. Yeah, I am feeling the heat already, geez. And this is the tamest day of the heat wave. Right, okay, that's good to know. So it's not actually anything to do with what we did. So I'm going to do the laziest of lazy things. Don't do this, guys. This is just an experiment. So when we shut down, VK device, no, let's do QA idle. Q wait idle, and we're just going to pause the main queue, Vulkan queue, and I'm kind of curious if, and also I'm going to slow down the amount of things that were rendered in the scene. So if I do change this to 44444, we should be how do I chat while coding? I just pick up like hello Emmanuel. I just pick up bits and bobs. I typically don't read literally everything that everyone's saying, but for the most part, yes, no, okay, interesting. So it really is nothing to do with what I just did. So the depth texture is currently in use by the command buffer. And why would that happen? Okay, so yes, we're going to debug this for a bit, unfortunately. So we're at presentation. Oh. We're trying to delete a texture. Why and where? Delete, destroy instance texture. Where are we? Yeah, pretty much. That's the reason I'm doing that. The Boora. It's so you're doing these live streams to log yourself coding. Both basically. I read a quote. I can't quite remember it, but by a buck from the Hikakare, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do something a bit crazy today and stream, and yeah, I enjoyed it. So hello, YipTag. So here we are, continuing on that journey. After that, are you making past time quickly? Oh, you got a class at 6:50. Well, yeah, don't miss it. Did we get Billboards on yesterday? Yes, we are on a new bug, a new thing. So, Emmanuel, we are trying to get our renderers to kind of behave. Right now, they are not behaving in the way I like. So we need to make sure that things are chilling when we try to move from the menu into a 2D. I think no, it's not that actually. There is something that's happening, and I don't quite know. So let me think. When we try to I think we're delete. Hang on. If I go to GPU device and I go to the find depth texture, so this guy is being accessed and deleted at the same time, which is kind of confusing. Why is it being deleted? I don't know. Do we need to delete it to make sure that things are working? I don't know. I have paused the main queue in between the destruction of the main menu and the game. No luck here. May I ask some programming related questions? You seem relatively experienced. Yeah, ask away. Thank you. As well for the for a little compliment. Yeah, anyone's allowed to, as long as it's like relatively on topic, anyone's allowed to talk about whatever. The only things I disallow are arguing, like if people argue, or if people are talking about politics or religion. So politics, religion, no, and no arguing. But apart from that, we can pretty much, and obviously if it's not crazy talk, if it's like, if someone starts talking about some delusional thinking, then we're gonna have to move on. General stuff. If you're a sane person, you should be fine. Hello. Thank you for joining us. IT. All right, just one moment. Cool. Yeah, okay, everything's sorted on our side. So we are deleting a texture for some reason. So what I'm going to do is, because we end up freaking out the command, right, so we lose our stack trace when this happens, unfortunately, because the breakpoint kind of gets triggered at a different point, I think. So why is this happening? Why are we trying to delete a texture at the end of the frame? Do we have a resource? We have two things that need to be deleted, apparently. What's in it? Do we have three handles? One's text. Okay, so we have... Okay. what are we doing here? What are we doing? So this might be a bit of a task, this, because this is kind of difficult to... I've got no feedback at the moment. God damn it, I really wanted to discuss politics on a game development stream. Yeah, dang it. Hello, hello. Vinge Ren. Hello, Vinge Ren. Thank you for joining us on this lovely hot day. Yeah, it's the only it's my secret trying to get hello, Raj, love it. Okay, right. So, I will debug for a bit longer now. The Bureau. I did see that you've asked a question. I will dig into that. I like to get, when people ask questions, I sometimes don't answer them straight away just to make sure that I can give them a bit more time. But for now, I'm just gonna make sure that I get something a bit further on done with this. So yeah, we have a texture here. Okay, so really stupid thing. Don't, again, this is gonna break. This is gonna this is gonna make our memory kind of go up, our GPU memory unnecessarily. Now, if we delete the texture and then we try and reuse it, what happens to things here? Ah, right. I think I know what's happened. Yeah, we're trying to delete the depth texture. I know what's happened. Right. This is actually quite straightforward. So in the main menu, we are doing a shutdown command on all the textures and stuff, right? Oh, we actually are waiting on I don't know if this is what we need to do, to be honest, so I'm going to get rid of that. So we do a shutdown, but I think we end up shutting down too much, effectively. So we shut down the pipeline. Where is the things that are bad here? So we have a texture, but I don't think that's it, because it would be named something else. It wouldn't be called depth texture. So, yeah, so this shutdown is not actually... Okay, so I'm going to do something a bit different here. And I'm going to get rid of it. I'm just going to see how this behaves. Right, okay, so... And the Bureau, I think I'll read your question after this, see what we do. Does it complain? It complains, and we are... It's because I think we're still deleting this. I just want to see if pausing the main queue is actually doing anything at all. I think it's just slowing us down. I think it is that, yeah, we're deleting a resource that we don't want to delete. I'm just going to figure out where that is. For those who are wondering, the billboard is, if it's renderable, is it here? It should be above us somewhere in blue. Is it inside the rock? Where is the... Where's it gone? Okay, so there is a billboard somewhere. There's only one, unfortunately, so it's hard to kind of find it. It's somewhere up here. But effectively, if you could see it, there is a blue thing that's always facing the camera. Anyway, so yeah, thank you. It looks great. Thank you. I appreciate that. And right, so let's pause the development timer for a moment and see what I can do in the Chatteroony for our guy. So the Bura has said, so I'm coding for, I don't know, say 8 years, and I was coding since I was 9 with WinForms. Oh, very cool. I didn't constantly code. I had a lot of other hobbies to do, but coding was always the first priority. That sounds very familiar to me. My story, actually, it sounds very similar. I still struggle to work in other code bases or contribute or read or understand proper code. To understand proper code feels like an amateur, and that sucks. I've tried a lot of languages like C, Rust, Godot and stuff. Got ya. And I'm essentially having a problem in problem solving, understanding like I open up a code base, I open up a code or coding challenge and try to do it, but I feel like I can't do anything, or I'm capable of grasping it. Honestly, the Bura, that sounds a lot like me. Like what I used to be like. Now, I'm not going to say I've completely solved it and I have the solutions for everything. I think, but what I can say is, you feel like you suck, and I think what's happening here, there are two things I think that's an observation I guess I could say is the idea. Have you ever heard of someone say? You may have heard of this before, but it's more common in drawing, like for people who are like artists, to say like, I've been drawing since I was a kid, and you see their art and it's like, because they haven't focused on it like diligently, like every single day, or done things that they should do to practice the fundamentals of art, they haven't really like broken through, let's just say, the intermediate plateau, right? So the first thing I did in your situation, I'm not saying that's going to apply to you, but I stopped all my other hobbies because I was like, well, what's my main priority? I was learning guitar at the time. I was pretty bad. I was terrible at Japanese, but I was learning Japanese very seriously. I was doing it for a large part of the amount I was doing it for a large hours amount of the day, and I was programming. And I was like, what's the highest return on investment when it comes to skill investment? And also I was like, well, I'm already good enough at C++. So my personal journey was, I'm going to focus on this so I have a skill so I can become what I call that guy. And what I mean by that guy, it's not I'm him, that's a new thing, right? But being that guy is like, you're the reliable one. Like, let's just say we make a game together or something like that, the Bura, right? And I need someone to do serialization. And I go, wait, I know that guy. I know a guy who can do that. That's being that guy, right? It's being like useful in a lot of different situations. And that was a big motivator for me for moving away from kind of like splitting my attention like multiple different ways into just like piling all my eggs in one basket. That's not always an option for everyone. I know that's not a great thing. Sometimes people like have to have a lot of different hobbies. And I feel like what you might be experiencing here is the there's this Dunning-Kruger effect graph. I think it's funny I brought this up twice, but I think what's ended up happening here, right, so a lot of people, say like, oh, Dunning-Kruger is always about idiots, right? But there's also this part, the valley of despair. I'm not saying this is where you are, but it's possible that this is longer than I think. Like, I think people like the problem with getting good at something is this feels like a linear progression. This is one thing this graph doesn't show. Let's just say that people start here. It's very easy to get to this point. It's very hard to get beyond this point because effort has diminishing returns, right? So if I like say improve 1% per day every single day, imagine saying that to Usain Bolt in his prime. Just today, Usain Bolt, just run 1% faster than you did yesterday when you broke that record. That's insane, right? So it unfortunately gets harder and harder and harder to climb this. And I think what ends up happening here that a lot of people kind of give up. So I would say don't give up. And unfortunately, the only way forward is to allow yourself to feel these feelings and recognize that they're just feelings, and just make sure that you keep putting in effort to keep climbing. And eventually you'll get better and better and better. So yes, obviously a log plot, exactly. So there's a log plot. So like if I was to, what is it, 1 over x squared, I think? Or is it just log? Inverse log. But anyway, there's the Pareto distribution. That's what I'm trying to think of. I can't spell this, though. So I'm just going to go in Desmos. But yes, because this is the idea that everyone just improves. This is y equals 1 over x, right? Or is it the way around? Actually, I should know this because this is just right. So if you imagine like the effort required to get better just gets harder and harder and harder, which I think would leave you with an improvement curve if you put in the same amount of effort of log n. Oops. E. No, x. Yes. Okay, so that's what I wanted. So because the effort because the amount of difficulty of getting better improves, like the improvement goes like this, which means you move, unfortunately, slower through the Dunning-Kruger curve. So it's one of those things where it's kind of like, I would just accept your feelings and just say like, this is just part of the process, and just let it wash over you. And at the very least, you can say you're not here. You know, you're not putting on the clown makeup every day, telling everyone on Reddit that you're the best programmer on the planet, right? So, you know, stick with it. Keep practicing, and you'll eventually break through. And I sometimes feel like I'm down here still. I don't think it ever really goes away. I just think like I just focus on the code rather than how I feel about the code, really. So I just let that kind of wash over me. So hopefully that was useful. I know it's a bit of a philosophical exploration here, but I think people think improving is linear, and unfortunately it's not. It takes more effort, and I think that's going to help. Hopefully that helps people in the chat. So yeah, Mount Stupid is where your friend who totally is going to help you is at. Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean with that. Where you've got, I'm going to help you make this game or something like that. So yeah, stick at it, dude. Yeah, I wanted what I was looking for. I think the actual graph that I needed was, I think it's +1, right? Now, what is the one which the actual growth curve? The natural log n. I wanted natural log n because that's the natural growth curve of things as it reaches. I can't remember. There's a way to actually make this like mathematically like growth curvy, but I can't remember the actual formula. So yes, I should maybe write that as is it really that? 10 to the power of x? That seems insane. Ah, right, yes, that yeah, I guess that would be it, I guess, yes. And I guess that would be +1 as well. No. Anyway, you get the general idea. Despite my terrible graphing, yeah, ln. I think I did ln, right? Yeah, it just takes years. Yeah, that's But I believe in you guys. Like I said in that video, I think you've all watched it. You know, you all can crush it. Right. Okay. So let's find this resource that we're deleting. Yeah, feel free to. I always got a long YouTube chat. What might be useful is, because I know maybe you want me to reply personally, but hopefully our community is good enough that maybe you can, if you do have more, you can maybe DM me, you can put it in the paste bin, you can do, but you know, I think other people also may be struggling with the same thing, maybe. So it may be a good discussion to put it into the Discord. So anyway, oh, I just found your stream. I have no idea what you're referring to, lol. That's funny. Yeah, thank you for joining us. I'm finding us out of the blue. Yes, I made a video basically about how to become an expert, if you're interested in that. It's like it distilled a bunch of like advice that I've picked up over the years, and I felt like it was necessary for some people who were struggling with like tutorials and stuff. But I actually made it for like funnily enough, I made it for like 2 people. Like I made it for one person in particular, and I thought it would apply for 2 other people. So yeah, if you hey Skatepoint, I gotta go soon, but I hope you have a great stream. Thank you, Ratchet. Hope you have a great day, and I hope whatever you're doing goes well. But yeah, thanks for tuning in and checking us out. Yeah. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no, but I understand the character is annoying, character limit. I don't really know about when I'm in a YouTube live stream, I just usually type like POG or something. You know what I mean? Like I typically don't type a lot. So right, okay, so let's figure this out. So we are deleting some resources from main menu. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to go into our main menu and actually comment out Your last video was great. I'm going to read about the article you mentioned, Teach Yourself Programming in 10 Years. Yes, I do recommend that. It's a really good article. And thank you for checking out my my video. And welcome to the live stream too. Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoy yourself while you're here. So let's see how that... Oh, actually, we need to enable the deletion again, because I want to make sure that we're not deleting anything we don't need to be. Now, a bunch of resources are not going to be freed, but that's... So our GPU memory is going to go up. Are we still... Okay, so it is... So... Whoa. Okay, so... that is because we haven't cleaned up some resources, which is fine, but that means there are some resources we shouldn't be deleting. Apparently it's depth image, which I don't understand. We are still here. Thank you. Yeah, sometimes I crash the GPU in the live stream goes down, so yeah, thank you for that, Mabdo. Fortunately, that was just an assert, but yeah, still good to know. That's just VMA screaming at me that I'm trying to shut down VMA without cleaning up all the resources it allocated. So that's what that's about. But that means that we are at least on the right track with this. So it is here. I'm going to go in here and check which one of these is breaking everything. So I'm not sure. It might be this, to be honest. I don't know. It's kind of strange. Oh, quad data shutdown. That should be... So I'm just going to go one step at a time here. We should get the bug again when we actually delete something. So let's press start. And we're still good. Okay, I won't do that again, I don't think. We'll leave that kind of complaining for a moment. So one more time. Oops, let's do this. And this is the only texture left, so I'm kind of confused here. Start. Oh, interesting. So that is causing that issue. The depth texture image. I don't think that's correct. Right, at least we know what texture that is. Yeah, so let me read some of the chatteroonies. Hey man, I'm also developing a game engine. Yo, another game engine developer. Nice. On my own. I want to migrate from OpenGL renderer to the new Vulkan one. How did you go about learning Vulkan? Any suggestions? I do have a roadmap in the resources section of my Discord. If you want to check out the full, what I think you should know, and you know, some Vulkan resources. But what I would recommend straight off rip, if you're just here for a quick recommendation so you can just go off and try and learn Vulkan, I highly recommend learning from How to Vulkan. It's a very quick tutorial series. It teaches you how to render a few textured things and I think 2 models, right? So it's not super complicated, it's not super long, but if you go through that diligently and take notes like I did, let me just show you what I mean by that. So you know, these are all my Vulkan notes, right? I took notes so I then didn't get stuck later on. So yeah, that's what I recommend. Take notes, but you know, it's just a general study tip. You don't have to do that, obviously. And yeah, so How to Vulkan, if you type that in. Don't go to the Vulkan tutorial. Leave that alone. Please do not use that. I say that in the guide too. It is 2006, 2020, 2016 tutorial. It's not very good. It has mistakes in it. But yeah, How to Vulkan is up to date. It's 2026 base tutorial. Yeah, go through that and see how you think. And I don't have any strong resources that will take you from an OpenGL programmer to Vulkan specifically, because I didn't do that. I just went straight in with Vulkan. After kind of dabbling in OpenGL, I didn't really get very far with it. So yeah, hopefully that helps there, Bed. The Jeed. Do you have any good tutorials or resources on getting billboards working in Vulkan? I would suggest that... Okay, so billboards for me, I've already done them in the past. So all I had to do was figure out what this formula, wherever I put it. Oh, so I don't really have like a, oh, this is a good walkthrough, because billboards are a bit of a niche topic. As far as I'm aware, anyway, I don't really know. It's not like the first thing you learn, but let me try and get it up. Where did I leave my notes? So what am I talking about here? It's not that. Game engine development. Is this graphics or maths? Yep, it's graphics. So all I had to do was like understand this formula, and this all came from the Foundations of Game Engine Development Graphics. It was the second part of the advanced rendering chapter. That's what I used. I'm probably going to read through more of this today. You can look at my code as well. Obviously, it's open source, so maybe that'll be a nice cross-reference for you. It's if you're interested. It is in the it's here, right? This code here in 2D shader vertex is doing the billboard stuff. So if you kind of have this as a base and you read and understand kind of this formula, this formula idea here, where we take the position and the radius of the radius of billboards, and you multiply it by the x and y vector, which comes from the view matrix camera, and then you can like work backwards to come up with this idea here, and that's how you do a billboard, a very basic sphere based billboard. So I'm not an expert on this at all, so that's what I would do. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue on with that. Open source base pure W. Thank you. Yes, it's in the description of the live stream. It should be anyway. It's called the Void engine. So yes, feel free to be inspired by parts of my code. I know I have been inspired by other people, so I'm not going to gatekeep knowledge here. None of that silliness. There's this idea. I think it's someone came up with it. I think it was a comedian. Secret source syndrome, where people think that they have the secret source and they need to protect it. Like I'm completely aware what I'm doing is, it's like if you had the secret source to make Coca-Cola. Like now, all you have to do is build the rest of the business. So protecting the secret source is kind of completely pointless, in my opinion. Anyway, so let's continue on and figure out why this texture is not working with us the way we want. So for some reason, what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to name this texture. So if I actually comment this out, and hang on, yeah, I know. That makes sense. Okay, I think I know what's going wrong. This does need to be freed, but it needs to be freed at the end. And do we have access to this outside? I think we do. I think I said S here. So what I think I need to do actually is on the shutdown of the game, put this there. I think that's going to easily solve our problem. What license is it under? I don't really have a license. I don't know. I don't know what a good license is. I'm just going kind of vibes based at the moment. So I don't have access to this. Okay. Is it part of the 2D renderer though that I can do? No. Where is this? Let me give me a second, gang. So this is destroyed here. Yep, which doesn't work. Is this a non? I thought it was a static variable. Oh, okay. So I made it static inside here. Okay, right. Oh no. This is bad. This is bad. This is terrible, actually. Okay, why is this called just counts as well? This is bad. Let's call this. Okay, so we've got to find all the counts now and figure out what's what. Okay, so there's some bug in my code here that's causing all sorts of issues. Oh, really? You can't use code unless it's in a... Oh, I didn't know that. What is that software? Is it Z or Visual Studio Code? It is a Visual Studio. NMM. That, it's like a heavyweight version of Visual Studio Code. Oh, is it? Unlicensed code is copyrighted, even if it's publicly available. Oh, I didn't know that. I actually did not know that. I'm trying to build an open source game system in Godot, so I probably won't be messing around with your code unless I need to actually lose my mind. Fair enough. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, well, all questions are welcome. Yeah, feel free to ask questions about things. If you don't understand something I'm doing, I feel that's my fault. So I'm always open up to. Okay, so we have count in here. I think this is fine because I think I did a. Yeah, that's in an enum. That's going to be chill. And okay, so we just have count here, which is just floating around. So I've got to be very careful here that I don't make a mistake here. Okay, so this is like going to bite me in the butt. So effectively, we're deleting too many textures. That's exactly what's happening. We're deleting way too many textures because we've got undefined behavior effectively. Because for some reason I decided to we're deleting 128 textures for some insane reason. Is there any reason why you don't use Linux? I do, but I don't use it as much because the reason is okay, so that's wrong. What's this? This is also wrong. This is atlas count. This also needs to be atlas count actually. So I use Windows primarily because gamers are still on Windows. So my main development platform has to be Windows still. But this game will be launched on Linux. Don't you worry. And I do some debugging on Linux. But my main priority is honestly getting this to work. Okay, cool. That seems to be count just eliminated. So the problem is here we need to do count resource count, resource update count. I think something like that. It's very important that it's not just called count, otherwise it's just going to get all confusing because of naming collisions here. And now, okay, so now we need to be careful. So when I have a handle. Yeah, think like a vibe code, AI code, all develop. Yeah, AS. Yeah, I think it does. How is it not copyrighted? I just knew yesterday that there is something called GitHub Actions. AI code probably doesn't have any copyright since it's not made by humans. Yeah, what I'll do then is I'll look into, I won't do it on stream, but I'll look into open source, like open sourcing it properly. I thought no license means that anyone can do whatever they want with it. Admittedly, I didn't realize, but yeah, we'll worry about like, open source stuff later. Right, so let me think. What are we doing now? Okay, so now we need to delete things properly. And yeah, I can't believe this has worked, actually. This is crazy. I think this would have blown up on Linux. Like instantly. Linux is better at like making me do things that make sense. Windows lets me do like all sorts of madness, especially on the MSVC compiler. Where is this? What am I looking for? Okay, so we have atlas count, which is literally the texture handle types. And so that increases with the amount of things. We get the handles. I mean, we can make this public or like accessible everywhere. I think I will actually. Because I want to be able to delete these at the end of everything. Like we need to have these like deleted at the end, I think. Right, so I'm going to make these non-static context per kind of thing, right? Kind of like this, exactly the same way. And we're not going to make it static though, so it doesn't get copied and pasted into every translation unit. Now we should have, if I go into my game, we should now be able to delete things like this, and it should only be limited to atlas count anyway, so maybe that wasn't, and maybe it's not a bug. But anyway, that should do what we want anyway. 128 just seems silly. AI is stolen from humans. Yeah, the company will focus on Windows 11 and AI. Ugh. Windows 11 will not be launched. Oh, really? Interesting. I did not know that. Copyright. Okay, so we got a fail. Hang on. Let me just, or an error. Okay, so Texture Atlas is... expression must be modified. Oh, I've made it const, haven't I? Whoops. Okay, so that's just a global variable now. Alright, cool. Now, that is... I actually don't know what global variables do when it's not static. So I might leave that as... Yeah, okay. So... Yeah, so that's why I don't remember, because it doesn't work. So... Yeah, let me think. Is this correct now? Or do you have different definitions? So there should only be one. Now, we're just going to make sure this is going to be consistent across the whole application. This is why sometimes if I ever get a question and someone's doing some weird C++ thing, like I just did then, I'm like, I don't know what happens because I never do that. Let's just check what the handles are on deletion. Okay, so what have we got here? We have an invalid ID. Okay, so clearly this is a separate copy. So we're going to have to do something different. So we want to delete these textures only at the end, even though we have... Ah, right. This is super obvious. Obvious idiot. Right, so this is super... I will respond to chat in a minute. I just realized my mistake. Who knows this, right? Bit of a pop quiz. If I have an well, I'm going to spoil it. If I have an object and I want multiple instances of that and I want a member variable to stay the same across multiple objects, what do I do? That is what I need to do, right? I kind of spoiled it because it's kind of literally what I just did. Yeah, let me just sort this out. So I'm sure people are gonna... So this shouldn't exist now. Okay, it does. Let's get rid of that. So now that shouldn't exist. Renderer. It's not ideal, but 2D, I think. Yeah, okay, so let's do this again. And I will catch up with the chat afterwards. Oh. Oh, yes, you can't do that. No, still not good. So, what do I have to do for this? I've forgotten. Let me think for a minute. This is a linker error because unresolved linkers... I think I need to define it in the other file. And how do you do that? I think you just say... Yeah. So I think what I have to do is... Oh, what is it? It's, Oh, this is so... Right, I'm just going to have to go to my older engine because I've done this like years ago. Where was I doing this? I was doing it in Gust again. This might be a Gust session. It was when I was hashing vertices, and I had to do this hashing thing. Oh, you're right. Yeah. Okay. It's just inline. Yeah, I should have just read the chat, and yeah, you're completely right. Where have I learned this? I've learned this from like older compilers, maybe. So right. So if I do inline, it doesn't like that. But if I do static inline, it does. It's fine. This is why people go mad with C++. Right, okay, so I'm just going to run this and then we'll see. Okay, it looks good. Oh, I see. That's C++ 17. And then, do you have data in there? Yes. So when I delete this, well, put it in the deletion queue anyway. It then goes off, and interestingly enough, it doesn't work, but I'm okay with that because we're getting closer. So image view invalid. It's possible that we've... Oh, okay, so... I think what's happening here is there's some kind of... Yeah. I've got to be very careful with how I handle resources here, because we might be, like, allocating something... what's the point of static inline? Static is internal linkage, right? And... inline is the same as defining across files. That could be... Yeah, do we get a warning? I actually don't know. Maybe I need to do some revision on my own. It's like when I got confused about in place. Yeah, you can't do this for some reason. Inline specifiers cannot appear in a block. Yeah, so sorry, I'm like super let's see. When we do this, what I'm worried about here is we allocate. Oh, sorry, I didn't ask what vibe coders was. Let me yeah, okay, so we are allocating a third. Okay, and then I think what ends up happening here is because we're in a different object, we end up kind of... Okay, so this is kind of tricky. Okay. We'll fix this. Yeah, okay, exit doesn't work because we haven't deleted everything properly. Right, I'll pause the chat just for a moment because I feel like... We'll feel like it's catch up. So yes, Monchi, if you don't know what a vibe coder is, that's probably really good. So it was coined by someone on Twitter, and I can't remember his name at all, where you actually deliberately try not to understand the code, and you just use AI bots to code the thing for you. And it's like you kind of vibe your way through the program effectively. Understanding as little as possible is the goal. That's what vibe coding is. But now it's become like a bit of a derogatory term for people who are using AI all the time. Okay, there we go. TT's got the name. So inline means that you can initialize it inline. Yes, that's the thing I thought inline was and it only does, but I guess there's another definition now. Yes, so thank you, Kalia, for a definition. I just wanted to hop on in after watching your video on expert on programming and say You have a lovely voice, by the way. Thank you. I'm glad. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thank you for checking it out. Yeah, appreciate you checking us out. Yeah. And obviously all the lovely reactions too. Right. Let's continue. I code myself. Yeah. So there. Yeah. It's someone called Andrew who did that. So we need to. Okay. So the first thing I want to fix is the main menu. Kind of. Yeah. I feel like what's happened here is I've learned how to use static under a Visual Studio's 2013, and I don't remember, which was not standard compliant at all. And static probably did a bunch of stuff that I didn't, that was undefined behavior back in those. Yeah. So I think, okay, not to throw shade at my old company too much, but okay, so the first thing, oops, that's my Windows noise. I don't know why you did that. Come on, let's uncomment. Thank you. Right. Yeah, statics or globals are instantiated for every translation unit. Man, I got a bill for you. Are you making a first-person shooter? Oh no, a bill I have to pay. No, I'm making a little space game. And I'll exit. Okay, so we're still not freeing resources. Okay, that's fine. I'll just show you what we're doing actually. So this is me beating up the engine. So we're trying to see how far I can push it. So it won't look like this when you play the game. This is all the debug geometry and just stuff flying around the scene. But yes, you should be able to fly a spaceship. I brought everything really close together as well, just to see things interact properly. And yeah, this is what we're going to be doing. It's like you've got like a nice nebula in the background. Admittedly, it doesn't look very good right now, due to the fact that everything's like very close together, and all the lighting kind of like kind of melds together. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. It's not going to be very. It's not going to be like you're not going to. The gameplay isn't going to be like crazy or anything. It's gonna be like a little arcadey experience. I've turned off the player as well. The player doesn't exist right now, but there is a player. And we've got the no clip camera on as well. That's why we can just like go inside a rock and stuff like that. So yes, you will be able to interact with this scene and do things in this. But right now we are clearing up a bunch of deletion issues that we've got all of a sudden. And I've just learned that yes, statics are globally instantiated for each translation unit, which I'm aware. Inline outside of a class means that you can violate the ODR and thus only have one instance of a global variable. Right. Thank you. I did not know that. That is something I have learned today. Thank you there. So if I do want to make a global variable, inline is the way to go. Static just has a global, instantiate each thing for each translation unit. I'm going to write that down. Let me write that down because that's actually I'm going to make a bigger note on that. So what I'm going to do later on, I think, is so what I do sometimes is I think I'll make, whoa, what the hell? I got a merge collision. No. Okay, so we've got a merge collision we've got to deal with. I think that's what we need to get rid of. Okay, so the first thing I've got to figure out is, can I do this for a search for everything? Okay, I'll just find merge collisions as they come about, I guess. Okay, so there's only one result here. Fantastic. Okay, so that was a global search, thank goodness. And yeah, I don't want this. What does the game engine need? It is... Yeah, we can actually get rid of both of these. Fantastic. Okay, cool. Nice. Okay, so now I've got rid of that merge collision, which turned out of nowhere. We just want to write that down, which is just... I think I did this... So this is like, if you guys tell me something I know, it's one of these things where it's like, I don't, what is it? What am I trying to say here? Why? Okay, this is broken still. Why aren't you working anymore? Yeah, if you guys have some knowledge that I don't have, I will happily learn from you guys. The last thing I want to be... There we go. Okay. The last thing I want to be doing is, like, become arrogant and assume that you all know stuff. I'm better than you and all that kind of stuff, you know. Anyway, so inline outside of a class means that you can violate... Yeah, I'll make this into something I revise tomorrow. ODR. And thus only one instance of a global variable. Oops. Fantastic. Okay, and static means that you have globals that are instantiated for every translation unit. So yes, sometimes there'll be gaps in my knowledge like that, and I will very much listen to you guys. Also, read my comments saying this exact thing multiple times on stream. Well, I didn't understand the difference. I thought they were both the same. I thought they were interchangeable for some reason. The same thing goes for functions also. Cool. The same. Just write that in as well. Goes for functions as well. Fantastic. Okay. Static might get duplicated in the binary. Right. Okay. So statics. Yes, I think I knew this one, but which is why I started to stop using statics. Statics might get duplicated in the binary, depending on what LLM, what's the, it's not always LLVM, but, you know, I'll type that in exactly as you've written. Thank you. Yes, I'll officially make that into a thing to revise. If I am better than you in not knowing stuff, if I am better than you in not knowing stuff, does that make me better than you? Yes, or no? I guess in that regard, perhaps yes. But it's hard to judge, honestly. There's a lot of things that TT might know, like a bunch of stuff. I don't know. Let's just pretend, for example, that he's an expert on compiler design. I don't know if that, it may be true. So, and he's, and I don't know anything about that, right? Like, does that mean he's better or not? It doesn't really matter, you know. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day, as long as we're all, you know, on our own journey, getting better every day. You know, I'm not going to say improve 1% every day. It's more like, I like to imagine this. This is let's pause this for a minute. If I got some like crazy criticism, like, oh, you suck as a programmer or something, it's like, and it was true. Let's just even say it was true. Like, for me, it's like, I'm just gonna get better than I was yesterday, and that is eventually not going to be true anymore if I keep going. So, you know, yeah, it's just like a nice little motivation trick. Never stand still, and you can. It's like a good thing, I think. Do we have texture cores that are ever different? That's the other thing. Oh yeah, we do. Yeah, of course. Yes, I was going to say that would be true if we weren't using sprite sheets. Okay, cool. TT is big boss. Yes, per standard they have to get duplicated, but optimization steps are not always bound by such rules. Okay, cool. Thank you. for that lovely advice. Yep. So there we go. You know, you can say now that I'm a better coder than I was yesterday. Anyway, let's start our music again. Okay, I'm kind of over this song. Let's just go to the next one. This is sick. This is a sick track. Right. What are we doing next? Right. Do we want to? So we go start. Let me close. What ends up happening here? So invalid image view. If image view is not null, image view must be. So yeah, this is the other issue we're having, I think, because of duplicates. I really don't want this to be true. But let's just see. When we initialize game, do we initialize? No, hang on. The GPU should not be. I feel like we're initializing multiple view objects with the same number. So when they get in Vulkan anyway, when we try to destroy them, they're like, "What are you doing?" It doesn't make sense. That's the only thing I can glean about this. We're trying to delete something that's apparently already deleted. And right. Right. Yes. Okay. So, yeah, if we delete 0, I don't think that exists. That's like saying there's a null point, and I think. Yeah. Okay. So how do we get around this? I think I figured this out, but I need to know what to do. And to our notes we have. So static inline. All right, we'll come back to this in a minute. This is not too important. What do we want to do here? Okay, so I'm just going to do a quick hack. So I believe that if I set this to 1, this won't break. Let's just check. Surely delete 0 is no off. I think what's ended up happening in Vulkan is I'm telling it to delete something called 0, which has already either been deleted or doesn't exist. So yeah, okay, that's what's happened. We're deleting something that's called 0, and that's bad. So I'm going to change how this works completely. I'm not going to use a static array. I'm going to use a dynamic array, just because it's just going to be like the hassle of managing this object is going to be way simpler if I just have an object that's dependent. In fact, I can even simplify it again. Why does this have to be an array? What? Like literally, this does not have to be an array. We're not going to initialize multiple. Yeah, I can just simplify my life completely. Yeah, this is dumb. I'm doing dumb things. Let me just blast through this real quick. Yeah, I'm just being stupid, like straight up. There we go. Done. Right. And then we just set this, and then when we want to delete it, we just say delete it, right? And it's because it's unique to each object, then it can go on the sampler, it can go on the deletion list every single time we delete this object. So yes, I've just been stupid. Destroy, like I've just overcomplicated that to the nth degree. So that's the handle. In fact, let's make this a texture handle, because this is a... Is it a texture handle? Hang on. Do I want a texture handle? I can probably make this even simpler if I... Yeah, let's make it a texture handle, because that's just going to make things even easier. So this is just a struct wrapper. And let me just get this out of here, and I'll look very quickly try to sort this out, and okay, so it just needs to be the index, which is completely chill. But now deleting is going to be even easier because it's just literally put the texture handle on there, and which kind of, this works exactly how it needs to. And because each renderer is going to have its own sprite sheet, yeah, completely chill. We don't need to have global. If we're going to have multiple instances of this anyway, then yeah, that just simplifies everything. Okay, we've done that. Next is doing it in the wider instance. So now we need to go to game and delete this. This is completely stupid. And it should be good. And yes, let's go to our main menu and go in here and just make sure that we are at the very least destroying. Yep, okay. Now if we get the same error again, but that's like a different problem, I think. TLDR, always use inline in headers unless you really know what you're doing. Okay. Yes, do you type notes out for the stream, or do you prefer it's handwritten? I do, because of Obsidian, all this connectiveness. I type it all out. So I've typed this out, for example, off stream. And then I connect them all together. But I know people like handwritten. I have no qualms against other people doing handwritten stuff. So let's see, exit. Yep, exit works fine now. Now when I go start, we haven't got an access. We haven't got a stupid validation error. And when I close this, yo, there we go. How about that? Might want to check the docs, at least in C++, deletes null pointer. GL deletes on no ops. Yeah, effectively what we're trying to do here is access a... What ends up happening, just so people don't know, because this is kind of a bit abstracted out, we put things into a deletion queue. That deletion queue goes at the end of the frame, and if it goes in here, it pulls out the handle, and that goes into this delete instant. And then based on that texture, we fetch it from a resource, and you can see where it's starting to go wrong here, because look at this. We have a pointer, and this pointer has... VMA view and all that kind of stuff. So if we go into here, peek inside, it's just a handle, right? So again, it's just another pointer effectively. So effectively what ends up happening is we basically have a null pointer here, and we're trying to delete a null pointer, which doesn't make any sense. So 0 effectively is defined to null pointer, and this is a, you can see that the arguments are VK device and the allocator callback. So if I go in here, we should see that it should say somewhere that this argument can't be 0 or null. Is there a docs? So if the image view is, yeah, because that's what effectively it is, not null handle. It must be a valid. So I think it might be an invalid. I don't know, but I thought it was. Yeah. Okay. So it's null. I think, as far as I'm aware, I think invalid in this case could be. Actually, don't know. If is not VK null handle, which is defined to be what? Oh, it's just 0. Huh, interesting. Maybe I was wrong there. Yeah, you might be right, actually. Let's try it out. Obviously, this is terrible because I'm not going to delete any textures now, but let's just see what happens if we have a null handle in here. Don't know. Literally no idea. So I think it's going to immediately break on... No? Okay, so yeah, we get a void. What do we get is just memory leaks, but it doesn't look like it's a... yeah, just memory leaks with all the objects that we didn't delete. So it's fine, yeah, it's actually undefined. So we had an invalid handle somehow, which is different from Let me have a look. So it might be the fact that... I actually don't know. We just had an invalid handle. So yeah, I think you're right. Deleting 0 is actually a no-op, it looks like, by the looks of things. Or it's at least not a validation error by itself. Yeah, okay. That's interesting. Usually you want to allow deleting null. Yeah. There we go. A little side tangent there. A little side quest to figure out things. So it's an invalid handle in some way because that it says it can't be. This is the spec. This is part of the spec. If not, then it must be valid. So it's somehow the image view is invalid, and I don't know why. It's probably been deleted twice. That's what I would guess. Anyway, all right. So where are we up to? Let's. What I'm gonna do is rebuild the regular scene. Let me kind of go back to normal, because that was the stress tester scene, which I don't really care about. So the debug scene, which is for debugging deletion, and where's the build scene? I think it's just called, right? Yeah. So we have build scene, which you're very familiar with if you've been here before. We're just going to do that instead. Oh, let's actually render these back in. Actually, haven't tested everything with these fellas, so let's get these guys back in. Okay, and let's just make sure this is all good. But what I'm also going to do is also remove the debug scene. Sorry, the performance-based scene, and look at where are we? Right, build scene, that's what I want. So we're just going to build the regular scene. Hey man, hey guys, how you doing, dudes? You sound oddly friendly. Ah, thank you. Yeah, welcome. Hope you're having a great day, whatever you're up to. So we are just about to see if I have to... Ooh, okay, let's press enter. Let everything build. Excuse the terrible menu. Yep, that's about right. And interestingly enough, we have... Oh, we used the wrong... So anyway, this is a... This demonstrates a billboard a lot better if you're not familiar. So we do have a billboard. It's not quite correct because it's not the most correct billboard that you can have. But yes, always face the camera, and we're using the wrong the wrong texture, which we can easily fix for some reason. Atlas texture. Why are we using the wrong texture? Yeah, at least it's a billboard, indeed. What does MGLT mean? Ship it. Yeah, I'll ship it tomorrow. We'll have to ship it so I can buy 500 cigarettes. Right, so we need to find whatever that... Where is our... Right, we say particles in here, so why aren't we loading that one? So particles is number 2, and when we load this fella in, is number 1, which is well numbers 0 to 1, I guess, if I'm counting properly. Let's go in here. We load this. Let's just let's put a breakpoint here and just see what we end up loading. What path comes through? Lithium, gold, tungsten, manganese. I see. Okay. Damn. There we go. Taught a bit of chemistry while we code. Particles. We loaded. What path did we get from his? Yeah, so we got something back. Texture handle 10. Okay, so that should be, as far as I'm aware. Why on earth are you... Image data. We point to... Is this dangling pointers? We assign a void pointer there. What's up? Yeah. What's up, man? From what I've heard, the most useful you can get from a code review. Oh, I see. Okay. LGTM. If you shorten gold to G. Well, first time I see anyone use breakpoints. Oh, there you go. Yes, I use breakpoints like basically all the time. Or L for lithium. Right. Lithium, gold, tungsten. Admittedly, in our company, we did basically we never did a code review. It was pretty shocking if you would watch our DevOps operations back when I was employed. My goodness. The most we ever got was someone looking over the code being like, yeah, that looks good. Anyway. And then we just stopped doing them. My code review. My code reviews itself. Oh, there, that's based that. I mean, if you have good tests and stuff, you're all good. But right now I'm just kind of... I'm rewriting this, like... I don't know what direction I need to go in, so... This is never the final form of the engine. Just you wait, guys. I'm Potential Man. I don't know if you know that meme. I'm the Mr. Potential Man personified as a programmer. Yeah, my code is buggy, but what? Just you wait. It's going to be fantastic. Anyway, looks good to me. There we go. Okay, fantastic. There we go. Now we know. Did you manage to evade my reading what actually stands for? I think I did actually. Did I? We both missed it. Oh dear. Oh, looks good to me. Okay, I didn't understand, right. Ship, it looks good to me. You said immediately. Right, because I so do not understand what LGMT. I was like, oh yeah, you just said looks good to me, of course. That's completely unrelated. Even though you were literally explaining it, you were answering my question. Anyways, enough waffle. Let's figure out what we're doing here. Okay, so we have image data coming in. We have the... Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to see if I break... Don't do this. Well, actually, you can do this. It's fine. If I just always load this texture, is that going to... Now, the main menu is going to completely break, but I kind of know where to click, so... There. Okay. Now... Where is the billboard? We might have freed the texture, which is interesting. Yeah, I think that's what's happened there. We've... Go back. Space is creepy indeed. Hey, dude, how are you? Yes, I'm all right. Yeah, just a little warm, but chilling nonetheless. Yes, we're just trying to figure out why this is the wrong texture for some reason. So that's baffling me at the moment. So if we're using particle, okay, so we definitely have access to. Yeah, what ends up getting loaded in here? Right. Okay, so it is definitely... I think we just might be using the wrong thing. Dog simulator indeed, yes. Skybox doesn't help, to be honest. Indeed, yes, we're going to have a... We're going to have a little space arcadey game, hopefully, one day, for everyone to play. The good old British problem, no AC, sorry for you, man. Yeah, it is what it is, I guess. I might get one at some point, just because I do feel like things are getting warmer. So it might be a decent investment. I know people are starting to get them here and there, but they're all getting like portable ones. Right, so let's see. What are we messing up here? So when we do this, like this worked before, but I don't know why. So I'm just going to pause on this for a minute, just for a minute, think. So when we definitely are saying the rendering type is 3D, which is fine, that's correct, that's always happening. But when we actually say add quad, we have the texture atlas here. And what is that doing? Whoops. Okay, looks like absolutely nothing. Which means we are not getting the texture atlas we want, despite us selecting it, because we've changed things. Right, okay. In the Eastern European, I'm freezing. Oh, I wish I could trade places briefly. Well, actually, I say that I might. I've got to be careful where I say that, because sometimes, like, you know, if you're at the same elevation of like Siberia, you end up, you know, constantly freezing, like frigid cold. So yeah, I've got to be careful. Create a goth sim. Uh-oh. Goth Slayer's making me create a goth sim. He might have ulterior motives here. That username sus. I'm Romanian, so definitely don't want to trade places. Fair enough. Right, so we have this. Let me just think for a minute. So we have texture atlas. What is this texture ID? So if I set this to 1, which is the... No, that's not going to work at all. Yeah, I've got to check what this is, I think, when I'm doing this. So this is 3, which is... And if I look at the call stack, this should be the main menu, which is about right. Yeah, okay, so F10. F5 even. Okay, yes, we have a couple of these. Let me do start. Then we're in here, and the texture atlas is texture ID is 11. But for some reason that translates to a completely... I'm confused. This is how arrays work, right? The index 1 is this with a comma with strings. Why? I mean, I could just pass in the string, to be honest. I don't really have to do this kind of atlas thing. That might be better. Yeah, let me think about this. I might decomplicate this a bit. If we are assuming that we don't ever need to swap textures, which is true right now, I think what we can do is simplify everything down. Yeah, I'm going to simplify everything down. Bro, is another Tokyo spliff. Oh, I wish. I'll say that. I wish. Yeah, thank you for the comment though. Compliments. Yeah, so I'm going to simplify this all down and just like pass in a texture atlas. If someone Volcano MD, there we go. If someone self-identifies as Eastern European, they are definitely not from the same latitude, Siberia. Oh, okay, fair enough. Really? Can't you be in I was thinking like top of like what is it called? Lithuania. Right? Or am I just being dumb? Right, so what I'm going to do is get rid of this. Maybe I should just stick to coding. maybe that's my issue, right? Right, so we're going to get rid of these. We're going to actually take these so we don't actually lose them. I'm going to stick them in Notepad just for brief moments. So I don't lose them. Get rid of these. Because I don't think we need them at all. That was to do some kind of fanciness that I think just made the engine just super complicated for no reason. File path. So, yeah. If we just simplify these down, because effectively that's what I'm doing. Yep, so error. And in here this goes. Okay, cool. And I think that's it. So now we can be very explicit. Oh, isn't it? Okay, it's not, it's north. Fair enough. Yes, Tokyo Spliff is certainly goated indeed. He is cracked on the sticks, as the fighting game community which would say, I guess. Okay, that kind of makes no sense, because that would mean he was a fighting game community person, but anyway. Right, main menu. Right, we want to go into here and pass in our string, which is somewhere. Where's our string? When we're loading our... Hello? Where do we actually set this up? So when we load buffers, which is... No, load textures. Ah, right, I see. We're not actually loading the texture at all, so that's a good start, right? Let's actually load the texture we need. Right. That goes in there. Well, right. GPU. Fantastic. Okay, cool. Never really kept up with Tokyo Spliff, to be honest. I check him out every now and again. I'm in his streams every now and again. But he hasn't streamed in a while. That's the only thing I don't know. I don't know much about him. He just appears every now and again. Bro, he's 10 years in the field. Right, okay, so height and width, we don't need to worry about this at all. Yeah, okay, so yeah. Oh no, we need the other enum, I think. Hang on. We need to know the size of the texture we're passing in. So what I'm going to do, actually, instead of being smart, yeah, I'm just going to do that. That's fine, actually. The texture atlas thing is absolutely not necessary at all. So get rid of this. Ah, this is... Oh, okay. Get rid of that. Okay, that's going to fix everything. Get rid of this. Yeah, because I've simplified everything. This is getting much easier to handle now. I think everything was getting a bit convoluted. In the real sense of the word. You know, mathematically speaking. Multiple functions. Okay, so I've got to be careful here. So instead of rambling, let's concentrate. Texture atlas, get rid of that. Don't need that at all. Don't need this at all, because we're only going to have one texture atlas per GUI. If we need to increase the complexity of things, then we'll do it differently. But I think for now, this is like simpler is better. Okay, so we have to add quad. Oh, UI element, right? Yes, so let's get rid of this. Right, okay, so we're missing an argument here. Or... So we have offset, row, column, sprite, position. Let's just take these in. Oh, no, it's fixed, okay. Yeah, okay, so that's what was happening. I was sneaking in a load... an incorrect load, effectively. I've now pulled it out. We're using a path. Right, so we might get some errors, but we'll, yeah, class finished. Well, I hope you had a good class. I've been on like one of his streams a really, really long time ago. That was basically it. Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, well, I think, yeah, that's, there isn't really much lore to, he's just been doing, you know, what, I get effectively what I've been doing. I don't really, I'm sure he's doing great. Right, every time I watch a streamer though, I'm pretty notorious for, it's like doing coding. I immediately want to code myself, so I start coding. So if I ever end up cool, so we have yeah, okay. So if I ever end up seeing people like live coding, I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go mute and then code as well. Okay, let's just see. Deletion's fine. Okay, cool. And hopefully this doesn't blow up. Ah, dang it. Really? We don't have our... That's really disappointing. So either... I've got to be careful here. It's possible that... right, so I'm just going to do this. This is just going to be a quick test. I'm just going to break the shader just briefly, just to make sure that things are rendering. Sorry, everything's still working geometrically, right? That's 1.f. It's clearly a texture issue, but so we're just going to see white here. By design. Now, is there a billboard here? Okay, so that's what I wanted to see. There's no billboard. Right, okay, so that's what I wanted to check, right? Since we've refactored things, we've accidentally deleted stuff. Okay, so let's fix that. That's how I use these streams. Makes me more productive with coding super early in the morning. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. I like to I'm totally aware that my streams are what I would call second monitor content. I feel like it's like a radio show, right? Hopefully the interaction is fun as well. But I know it's not like something that you need to like pay attention to all the time, you know, like look at it. Why not use Zig? Simply, I'm more familiar with the C++. There's no Zig, C++. I don't think it really matters. I know people will say like Zig is better than this or that language better than that or whatever. But at the end of the day, if you know how to code well in any language that's appropriate for the tool that you're using, then it doesn't really matter, right? Yeah, pretty much. I just like C++, pretty much. I don't go all object-oriented craziness. I just kind of use like my hybrid C, like C++ approach. And also it would take me like a while to learn a language well enough to do this as well. So, okay, so where is our sprites being rendered? I should actually, yeah, I agree. Which language is better than that? So, yeah, it's. I think it's procrastination more than anything. It's if you actually want to code stuff, it doesn't really matter how you go about it. Just get on with it. Right. Okay. So we are not. So we're definitely loading a texture. It's possible that we're. No, we're not. It's not possible. Let's. Okay. So I'm going to go into the vertex shade and get rid of this. And that should be... Actually, no, I'm not. That's actually a bad idea. That's going to be inside the dock. Actually, it doesn't really matter. We can just move. So that's the player, but I don't think anything's inside here, right? Nope. Where is this thing gone? This is, I was expecting to work on something completely different today, not debugging billboards with the other 2D renderer, but... Oh well. No one knows. I personally use Haskell. Yeah, it's a rare language, actually. It's cool to see people using it. I feel like, someone said if you really like maths, then Haskell's like a really great language. All system languages are good for the tasks, lol. With that being said, everything's worse than C. Yeah, fair enough. That's it. It's the holy wars begin. You got to cling to your language like it's a god and defend it in the same way, right? Okay, so yeah, add quad is oh yeah, sorry about the I don't really have control of when the ads play. Some people pay for others to rewrite some packages and see. Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, YouTube's crazy nowadays, indeed. I think I can set them up, but I would have to be very deliberate. I'm aware that it is kind of annoying, so... What I'm saying is I would have to do a bunch of, like I would have to, like, manually click them. It would just be a pain in the neck. And if I don't manually click them, they just appear anyway. Yeah, I don't understand this, actually. Why are we getting the 2D renderer to work and not the other renderer? Let's run the other... Let's get the other sprite sheet working, actually. That's going to help us out, I think. Because that's a complete sprite sheet. Yeah, so we have... Yeah, so let me think for a minute. So for some reason we're not getting anything rendered, and we did before. Why is that the case? Well, the things that we did was we just removed a bunch of arrays, static arrays, and enums, which didn't need to be there because we're not swapping anything around. The 2D renderers now have their own texture handle, which is fine because we're not swapping anything around. They seem to be loading everything correctly. They do have different texture IDs. It's possible that our deletion code is bad, so let's go through that. So when we shut down the 2D renderer, yeah, let's oh no, okay, it's fine. That's still good. Oh, it's fine, mate. Oh, yeah, appreciate that. YouTube, yeah. Hello, sir. I'm a boy from India. Well, welcome. All. 4141. Welcome. Hopefully you enjoy your time here. And feel free to ask questions, by the way, if people don't know what's going on. Right now I'm just trying to figure out why things aren't rendering. What we could do is throw this into RenderDoc, but I don't think any of the... It's possible that the geometry's all messed up, but I don't think it is. I thought it was the textures. No, wait. This is a RenderDoc situation. Yeah, I think we have to use RenderDoc. Why? Well, when I did this, right? So if I do this again, 1F, so this should be white. 1.f, right? If I do this, this is just the output of the fragment shader, so that just shades the pixels in. Right, white. Very good, right? Everyone's there. We can see that's white. Now, I'm rendering a unless I'm not rendering it at all, but I think I was earlier, so we should see somewhere, let's go inside here just in case. Let's go inside that rock. It's quite close by. Whoops. Nope. Yeah, everything. We should see something rendered, a rectangle that's always facing the camera because I got the geometry right off stream. And we're not. So clearly something's gone wrong. And the only way to check that out is to throw it into render doc. So I think it's to do with the... I gotta go. Thank you for the screen. Yes. Thank you for turning up, TT. It's always a pleasure. Have a good rest of the day, whatever you end up doing. So we're going to open up render doc and just going to investigate basically the data. So, oops. Just got to type that in so we can get into render doc. And because it needs admin privileges because it's going to be interfacing with, I think, the GPU. Now we need to build this for release and give that a build. Oh, actually, that's not going to be any good. The reason I... Oops. Okay. So, that was not smart. Void source. Yes, thank you. We need to disable the validation layers. To do this, am I in... What is happening with this layout? Okay, so Visual Studios has gone a bit weird. I don't know why. Whatever. Anyway, so yeah, we just got like games HPP and then game. Right, I don't know what's going on. It's unimportant. So now we need to disable the validation layers and the logging, so we can run a release. This song is so hype. So log. I might reboot Visual Studios if it continues being a bit weird. Where's log? I need to go into Foundation. Where's... Okay, application. Get rid of these. Where's the Foundation gone? Oh, duh. Brain's getting cooked in the sun. Right, okay, cool. Right, so let's build that for release, and we shouldn't have any logging. Oops. What do those two things have to do with each other? The 2D renderers? Oh, I'm a boy from India. He's just telling me he's from India, I guess. I'm not sure what you mean, third Vinge. Ren. If it doesn't matter, don't worry. I only use Go. Now in my backend infrastructure / intern, I'm starting C++ because it's worth it for real. Yeah, you'll get Go. I think is a garbage collected language as far as I'm aware. So you'll get even more performance with C++ and C. I like what Coding Jesus, if you know that YouTuber, said. He says C++ assumes you're cracked until you're not, and then assumes you're cracked at the language. Like, it's straight up. That's how it assumes you are. So where other languages try to, like, you have to, like, prove yourself to access, like, more advanced features, you know. Whereas, like, C++ gives you, like, everything straight off rip. Same with C, by the way. C is exactly the same. So you can easily, like, blow up, like, make a complete mess of your code with C++. That's why I kind of like it. I kind of like that I can, for example, in my code, I'm casting something to a uint 64. And I think that's technically like undefined behavior or something, but it's like every compiler kind of knows what you're doing. And because I'm doing it properly, I'm just going to make sure this runs. Okay, so the shaders need to be updated. I'm not saying it's like better. I just like that. Like, you can completely mess it up. Alright, so I think something's gone wrong here. This, interestingly enough, yeah, something's gone wrong here, like, weirdly. So I'm just going to copy over the resources just to make sure that they are the same, because I'm not copying over the resources every single time because that would take forever. So this should be relatively quick because I've deleted a bunch of art assets this morning. Because I was trying, well, this afternoon. So in theory, I should be able to be like delete and then paste, right? Yeah, okay. And then run. Okay, so that is working as intended. And then we don't have a billboard, right? Just to check. Okay, so now we need to investigate that. Let's throw this into render doc and see why we're missing thingies. Okay, cool. The bot just implied it was exclusive to others. Oh, fair enough, yeah. Oh, yeah, so I see what you're saying, yeah. I often correct people's grammar. You know, because not everyone can read or write. So I try to read out what I think they're trying to say. All right, so, all right, let's see. So we're going to capture a frame and let's go into here and go into this. Look at our. So we should be seeing something, but we're not, obviously. And now we need to go into our buffers and see what the buffers are. So our scene should be pretty straightforward. Oh, that doesn't look good. What is it? E to the power of -8. So I've got to check that that makes sense for everything else. So let's go into the... How do I get out of this again? Pipeline stage, that's the one. Right, so what I'm going to do here is going to have this. And then I'm going to go into here and check the same buffer. Yeah, okay, it's the same, right? These two are the same. Nothing's different between these two. Okay, cool. I should have stayed the same. How are the billboards going? Not bad. Yeah, it's, we're just trying to debug the renderers. All the renderers are kind of working against each other right now. So yeah, we have still finished. Okay, so we have 256 or 25. Okay, so this doesn't do anything anymore. Maybe the radius is too small. Hang on. Yeah. Okay, so we actually need to increase the radius size, perhaps. In here. So to do this properly, let's look at my notes. Where did I put this? Oh, I haven't split this up. Let's go back to... No, how do I get in this mode? Yes. And now we need to go to... Let me just start the music because it's stopped on us. Never mind. I think it's repeating music, so I'm just gonna pick a... Alright. Yeah, let's pick a goofy track. Class. Yeah, YouTube, for some reason, for those who always come into these streams, you'll hear this all the time, but YouTube plays don't work properly. They just kind of keep repeating. So anyway, so we need a radius times by the position. Okay, so let's do that. So the radius times by the position. So let's just go with a 2. And I'm going to set a position as well, just to absolutely make sure this works. And the position is plus vec 3. Sorry, yeah, vec 3 plus 1.f 2.f. So it does have a position now. This worked before, so I'm not sure why we need to do this, but it might be too small, right? Alright, so no, seriously, still nothing. Okay, so we'll have to what I'm gonna do is like edit things in the shader, maybe. Yeah, because you can do that, I think. Nope, that's not render doc. Okay, so let's see what other people have said. I made a simple malloc in C and a simple HTTP server in C++, with some AI help. But I've kind of forgotten a lot of it because of those were the only C/C++ project I worked on. What should I build without AI to learn? It depends how new you are to C++. My projects are often very game orientated. Let me just pause. This is a bit more of an in-depth advice. So I personally would recommend learning having a project in mind of something that you want to do. So if you want to do game engine development, I can help you out because I would know how to, like, what you should do. So I think there's how you do this is you learn C++ and then do a project, right? I assume that you're also learning C++. I think learning a project by itself is fine, but you might get stuck. That's all. The only reason I say like learn C++ separately as well, it kind of helps you not get stuck. So what I would recommend is going to on YouTube for game development anyway, and picking we just go to one lone coder, right? And I would pick one of his videos and see what you think about. So I would go to his oldest ones personally and scroll through and see which easy project would you like to tackle. And I know couple of other people have done this. Like, would you like to build a this game he has here? Would you like to build this driver game, which actually I have a video on my YouTube channel of? You know, would you like to build Frogger? You know, these are like building blocks that you can build up to a lot, assuming that you're also learning C++ at the same time. These are, I think, are fantastic, and they get more complicated as they go on, right? Like the projects get harder. That's why I say sort with oldest. But that's good. Like, you can pick, you know, like how to build a 3D tessellator and, you know, do 2D light casting. You know, all these type of things, right? They get like building your own collision detection in 2D. And yeah, it just goes on and on and on. It gets better and better and better. So, you know, I would go here personally if you are if you're interested in game development at least, and then kind of like build it from there. If you're a bit more advanced than that, I don't really know what a good project would be after that. It's like I kind of went from here to building 3D renders, which was probably not a good idea. So I don't really have like a introduction. Probably learn OpenGL.com is probably a good place to start if you're interested in rendering. Despite the maths not being perfect, and learn OpenGL.com, it's going to give you a good foundation in both graphics theory and how to implement it in OpenGL. But if you really want to stick with Vulkan, then go with Vulkan. This is all in my roadmap, by the way, if you are interested. That's in the description in my Discord in the resource section. So if you want to find that out, you'll be able to find that full path. So yes, I'm kind of reiterating a lot of what I say in my roadmap. And yeah, take notes and you'll go. I've been doing Vulkan, it feels like pain. Yeah, it's tough. Vulkan is annoying. What I want to be is like Minecraft without an engine. Oh, you want to make a Minecraft clone? Yeah, appreciate it, King. No, I appreciate that, dude. Yeah, I think even in 2026, Vulkan is difficult. It's still got a steep learning curve. It's way better than it used to be, I admit. Minecraft. You want to make a Minecraft clone? I've made a Minecraft clone, and I kind of followed the standard Minecraft clone path, where you kind of find the simplest Minecraft clone to build. That is a great project, by the way. What did I do? I kind of found... do I have my Minecraft clone on my GitHub? I'll get back to coding just in a minute. So this is my GitHub, but I don't know if I have... Gen Open Boy Minecraft. Where did this come from? Yeah, I can't remember, but I did follow a tutorial for this. this, if you see a Minecraft clone on my YouTube channel, this is the code. I literally can't remember, admittedly. But yes, there are Minecraft clones out there if you want to do Minecraft. But this is OpenGL, it's not Vulkan. Yo, buddy, what's up? Yeah, no, what's just hanging out with chat and chilling, just giving some advice for people who are trying to start out and make Minecraft at the moment. Yeah, Minecraft is a fantastic beginner project. I want to say no, beginner, not beginner. Probably late intermediate level. Like it's a bit harder. I use SFLM in this, so I used a framework. I didn't quite go as low level. Yeah, Minecraft clones are great though because they simplify a lot of things down. You just came with my recommendation. It's nuts. Oh yeah, appreciate that, dude. Yo, hello. Right, let's get back into it. So I will answer questions about advice shortly. But let's dive back in to figuring stuff out. I could just do this real quick, maybe. What do you think about adaptive NPCs with AI advancements? I see lesser games pushing this idea. Oh, I see. Yes, I've seen kind of prototypes of that before. Yeah, it's cool. I'm not against AI. Just you may think that if you've seen a video where I talk about how to be an expert or whatever. That is just an argument for not using it to learn. But I think it's a cool piece of tech, and maybe it could be used in that way. I don't know. I have a feeling though that the gameplay would probably suffer. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know if every I would personally I would get annoyed if every NPC was like, "Great question. That's an excellent observation, that." And then it's like, "You're not just smart, you're a genius." And then just kind of rattled off some AI gibberish. Alright, so we need to investigate something. Let's dive back into this. Can you share your portfolio? Kind of curious. Yes, that is in the description of the live stream. It's under... I've just linked my main project, but yeah, you can find my whole GitHub and all my stuff's on there. Anyway, so... I'm sure it'd be good, though. So if you can pull it off. The adaptive AI thing when it comes to NPCs. So lights, we have the eye. Yeah, so what I'm trying to find here is like what's going wrong. Color, I don't think these are used at all. We have text chords, which is just... Okay, so this is being used, and we don't have anything crazy here. We have quad position. I think... What's quad... What is this? Texture ID. And then padding maps? Yep, okay, so... what I might try and do, because we have padding anyway, is have the position. So what I might try and do, actually, is... instead of having a padding here of 3 floats, what I'm going to have to do is actually have a float. We're going to have... yeah, give me a second. I'm sharing your screen. Oh, I appreciate that, dude. Thanks, Kenny. You've also got to be if you use AI for like NPCs in video games, you also got to be careful that you don't end up with a crazy AI bill. There's just something to be aware of, I guess. Is someone tries to talk to AI Nazim for like 12 hours for some reason. Can imagine that'd be kind of annoying. Right, okay, so instead of this, I'm going to have a position, and I'm going to mess around with the position. I think that's going to be useful. So, Vec3, I'm going to have a... let's see, what have we got position already? No. So, billboard position. Yeah, okay, so that's a bit clumsy. But I want to be explicit here that it's not used for anything else. This gets added in. Right, so now we need to just move that into the shaders. So AI is useful tool for finding code you want, but using one model will not solve all your problems. Yeah, for me it's like I won't go too deep into it, but I really like this take that this physicist said. If you use if you outsource your thinking to do like what's like remedial tasks, you get worse at those remedial tasks, which may be a good idea. Maybe you don't care about getting good at something or whatever, like getting good at like searching for information. Maybe you don't care about that specifically, but there is a consequence to outsourcing that, and that is that eventually you'll get bad at doing that. But I don't want to turn this into an AI discussion video, to be fair, stream. So I'm going to leave that there and just say, you guys can do what you want. I'm not gonna say to do this or that about anything really. Anyway, so let's open all that up again. So this needs to be in the quad position, and instead of 3 pad, we're gonna have vec position 3. So what I'm going to try and do here is, so billboard position. And 5 minutes, spend 5 minutes with an AI model. Generally gaslights you into thinking you are onto something big. I don't use them. I've heard that's the case for people. Yeah, it's kind of disappointing. If that's actually what they end up doing, because you would hope that they are objective, but I guess not. Anyway, so let's break into this, and when we are setting up our 2D renderer, I feel like we've made loads of improvements here, but we haven't solved the problem. That's disappointing, but let's keep going. So I think it's quad position. Where's the quad position? Okay, so for now, let's just set this to so it doesn't freak out on us. So vec 3 is actually, I think we can do this, right? Maybe this is probably a good idea to do this, so you know what it is. 1.f, 1.f. 1.f. So that should be a piece of data that we can access. We don't have the render doc running, and yeah, we're going to leave that there, and it's going to see how that behaves. Billboard position is under. Oh yes, obviously. I have done that completely wrong. I realized my mistake. It is if this is from not, hang on, if it's from this, then this is per instance. Yeah, okay, so maybe I should oh, that's true, it's not always the case that this is supported. If you copy this over, this is not always supported actually. But anyway, that's why I've done it like this. I do remember, but I think I'm worrying about GPUs that are like too old, so maybe I should clean up my code a bit, copy this to a local variable, and then spam that out. Right, okay, so that should be the quad position data uploaded. We should give this a run. Morning, Mika. How you doing, dude? Hope you had a good sleep. Yeah, amazing, great dive. You nailed it. Yeah, I can't imagine that'd be very annoying if I was talking to an AI NPC and it did that all the time. I think it chooses preferred method over unorthodox, but you need an orthodox in some instances. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, GPT Claude. Right, okay, so we don't have anything changed, but that's fine because we're going to mess around with these values now. and see if I can... What do I want to do? We need to do this anyway. Okay, so what I'm going to do actually is get rid of the menu and just see if that fixes things. It's possible that... I'm just going to restart the music as well. Give me a moment. That we're running... Something's gone wrong with both connecting. I'm a bit lost here. So, what game are we making? We're making a little space game at the moment, but we're debugging things to try and get what's called a billboard on the screen. This is just the debug geometry. You won't be moving this fast in the game, but yes, it's going to be like a little arcadey 3D style thing. So yeah, that's what we're making. So I'm just going to go inside this duck. Just make sure it's not inside here. Nope. Okay. As far as I could tell. Right. So clearly, it's just not working. It's just not working. No matter what we do. Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't like how the specular light is working on these asteroids. It does make them look a bit strange. When the debug is on, it looks like really cool red blood cell game. I subscribed. Thank you. Very much appreciate that. Yeah. Right, let's give ourselves a second to think again. Right. Let's think. You're making a voxel shooting game. Yo, nice. In Python with Raylib. I didn't even know Raylib did. I didn't even know you could do that in Raylib. Nice. Right. I hope it's going well. We need more good games in there, so I always like to hear people making good games. That's not what we need. Where's the playlist gone? Okay. Let me just sort this out real quick. For some reason, we fell out the playlist. Let's go with a new track, because that's just going to be the same. How about... it has to be this way, because it does. How about that? Right. Yeah, Python's libs are mainly C/C++ bindings. Makes sense. I guess you would bind them. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, you could probably just easily import it. Yeah, it's just the first time I've ever heard anyone use Python in that way. That's cool, though. Yeah. Well, good luck with that project. I hope you absolutely crush it. Okay, so let me think about this for a bit. We're not getting anything rendering on the screen. What have I done? And when I do this, it should be white. We should see something. As far as I can tell, at the very least, let's just get rid of everything. I'm just gonna not render anything. I'm gonna set this to a different color actually. Give me a minute. So what I'm gonna do is set this to, I don't know what color this is, magenta perhaps. And just make sure we've got things coming through. Oh, right, okay, so what I'm going to do is just disable everything in the scene. Yeah, Yip Tag, I am deliberately being vague with what I'm making. It's just a little space arcadey shooter. The problem is if I start telling everyone like, oh, and it's going to have this cool feature, and it's going to have this cool feature, and it's going to have this cool feature, and then I don't finish that, then it's going to be kind of disappointing, right? And also, if you talk about the ideas that you have in general, you don't end up finishing them. Right, okay, so... nothing's being rendered, and I'm going to throw this into render doc. So that's like my motivation, really. I don't really like scripting languages personally, but if it works, I guess. Yeah, pretty much. It's that's how I feel about it, to be honest. I would want my thing to be fast, so... But again, if it works, it works, you know? Maybe that's all you need, and I think that's sometimes the best way to approach programming. Is just do what you absolutely need to do. So I'm just going to move backwards with the camera. Actually, I can't. Whatever. Let's just see if the data's good. This is the only thing I did this for. So we're supposed to be drawing something, and... so we have a standard view projection matrix. We have flag 2. So flag 2. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, flag 2. That's exactly right. And we have transform, which we're not using at all. And we have quant position 111. And we have texture ID offset 12 is not okay. So we have 111. Okay. What is my background in coding? How much experience do you have? I guess the most experience that I could claim I have is that I worked in the EDA industry for 6 years and 11 months as a C++ developer. I don't have any game development experience, professionally speaking, outside of doing indie stuff like this. But most of my experience, honestly, is stuff that you can probably read in my GitHub, meaning that you'll find more, up-to-date experience in my coding itself. You know, if the code speaks for itself, if that makes sense, like a silly thing to say, but yeah, so this should be rendering something, but I don't know where it is. Let's then yeah, so it's 111. So I think I need to turn on the camera again. That's what I was doing, right? This is like not going well, I have to admit. I thought I got everything working and I was really happy, but yeah, nothing is so we have the global scene being updated, okay. Yeah, lucky flag, yeah. I will look at GitHub. Yeah, if you I've pinned all my projects that are worth looking at in my opinion. I've got some older stuff on there. It's hard to compare myself to other people. I don't know what they're at. Right, so I'm going to put the skybox back because it's going to help us see things, I think. Actually, that's not going to work. That's just not going to work. Oh, it is, okay. It just has a contrast to the background. Why did it work before? I don't understand. Unfortunately, I didn't git push, which was kind of stupid. I got it working and then I broke it without git pushing, which is a noob mistake. Don't do that, guys. It was all to do with this texture stuff, but even still, I don't think what I did was particularly bad. Right, let's just check. Because considering we're only rendering one thing, we never add the. Oh, we're in release. That's not going to do anything. Give that a stretch. All right. Oh, I'm hot. Cool. What's the texture ID? 9. And when we loaded this in, what did we load? So this should be the particles PNG, and we got some data here. I have a feeling that we got a dangling pointer, to be honest. I'm kind of suspicious of that. Cool. Let's put this at 0, 0, 0. It's funny because I have not decided. So Yip Tag has said. Okay, so I'm just going to simplify the vertex shader, I think. We're going to get rid of this. I'm not going to use it. We're not going to get rid of it. We're going to get rid of this. Like that, right? And in my notes, it's the other way, but I don't think that's going to change anything because commutativeness. But I'm going to make this sure this is absolutely identical. Then it's because I could have got the oops. I could have got the up and the down mixed up, and then it's all kind of broken ever since then. If you know what I mean, right? Like maybe it's not up multiply, it's like world times by. Right, so in the code it's literally written like this. And if I look at this again, so yeah, it's multiplied world x plus position up, right? Right, so that's, I assume, what we had last time. Hang on a minute. Why not doing black always? Something stupid. No. It's funny. Sorry, I'll read this out. Yip Tag. It's funny because I have not decided if I should write a custom engine for my game. I hate the way coding works in Godot and Unreal, but it might not be worth it. Yeah, it's a good question to ask. If you can get away with it, then it's probably best. If you just want to make a game as quick as possible and get it out there for everyone to play, which is sometimes what is happening when I. Oh, it's just loading. Okay, right. Okay, so maybe the view projection matrices are all screwed up or something. I just don't know what has happened. So it's definitely the geometry, but I don't. All right, so let's turn on the debugging again. Hang on. I'm just going to relaunch Visual Studios. It's been a bit strange. Let me just check something real quick. Okay. I think everything's good. Right, cool. Let's get rid of this. Hello. Why switch from Linux to Windows? It's obvious because like gamers are on Windows, or is there another? Yeah, basically that. I do have a Windows distro that I have. That I do. I basically push my code up to GitHub, and then on Linux I then like fix everything and make sure it runs, and then fix any like extra stuff because the GCC compiler is better at picking up like warnings that make sense, whereas like the MSVC stuff doesn't really do that as well. So there will be an ELF binary for everyone to run on Linux, but yes, it's basically literally because the main priority is basically because gamers are on Windows, I have to support Windows first and then Linux second. Until the tides change and everyone starts moving to Linux like in mass, then you'll see Linux streams basically when that happens. I'm okay with spending years on a single project. It's just that I fear that if I make a custom engine to develop, it will make it easier for myself. The result will be inferior to compared to commercial game engines. It probably will be, but this is the, I think, calculus that kind of ends up happening. Does it need to be as good as commercial game engines for your game? And so I think what ends up happening is it's hopefully going to be better. Sorry, I should say rephrase that. It's not going to be better. It's going to be worse in the general sense, but it's going to be worse in the general sense, but better for the specific case that you have for your game. Like if I wrote my scene that I'm rendering in Unity or Unreal or Godot, it would be way slower. Just because I can absolutely cut back on everything, right? Because I only care about what's in the scene. So it's not even a fair comparison. Because they're solving different problems. Also, you can't compare a engine to the one that's been worked on for years by thousands of engineers. Yeah, that's very true. For example, like Factorio is the one I go to all the time. Like, they had to make their own game engine. Because of, like, what their game was. But anyway, let's just try and break this down again. So, I designed and made one month to test if it's possible to without a game engine. Oh, there you go then. Yeah. Yeah, Mika's quite, he's quite smart with his game development. If you don't know, he's a fellow game dev, and he's using like basically all the loads of frameworks. I'm not using the frameworks that he's using, but that's probably a really smart approach to doing it, right? Instead of like having to write all the framework code as well. That's another way of doing it. Like that's like a middle way, if there's such a thing, between a game engine and doing it with no libraries at all. I'm not doing that even. Like Casey Muratori's like no library game engine development stuff. So yeah, that's another approach. You don't have to use like just Vulkan and C++, or you know, you can use Raylib or I think you use BGFX, right, Mika, to do some of the stuff for you, and that helps. So that might be an approach you can take, which is technically a non-engine. I think BGFX doesn't let you do, yeah, BGFX, yeah, exactly, which allows you to do graphics, I believe, without it, like abstract some of the graphics out for you. I'm not that familiar, but effectively, if you want, there are libraries that can do stuff for you. You could do some of the heavy lifting. That's what I'm familiar with. Yeah, BGFX is a wrapper around all the rendering APIs, but I'm not entirely sure. But that might be like the really smart approach to this. Where am I getting wrong here? That's the question. Right. Okay. So I'm just gonna like lock in for a bit. So I'm doing something stupid. And I don't know what. We sold these. I've just got to get back to where we were. And the only thing I was doing different was the... I just don't know where this thing is going. Okay, now we got a validation error. It says pipeline. Oh, right, yeah, of course. Yeah, this is where you have your validation layers turned on. Yeah, I'm doing something you can't do, which is binding something without a graphics pipeline. Or I'm trying to use something. Yeah, this. Where's this gone? Go back out, please. Thank you. Okay, yep. That should fix that error. As far as I'm aware. Yeah, okay, so... Let me turn on the logging as well. I haven't turned on the logging. Where's logging gone? Because we might be getting more issues, which I don't think we are though. Source log. Right. Okay. So get rid of this and run again. Yeah, yeah. Sirens indeed. I've done a read access violation and the police are onto me. Somebody getting stabbed. Yeah, probably. I'll just hunker down. No, I have no idea what's going on. Yeah, oh no. Yeah, they're coming for you maybe. Oh yeah, watch out. Right, okay, so we should be back to square one, but we're not. As far as I can tell, that's exactly what we had before. And we have no reference because I stupidly did not commit. This is very stupid. Don't do this, guys. If you have something working and you're about to change everything, do not think that, oh, I'll just keep changing it until it works. I'll keep changing it until it's like I had a perfect milestone to commit. Oh well, lesson learned again. I mean, what I could do is just press Control Z the whole time, but that's like incredibly fragile to losing some work. No, nothing in here. So user interface. So the only other thing we did was, oh yeah, low texture, assets slash textures slash UI texture. This is .png. I actually don't know. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. So it's gonna load that thing. Yeah, a wise man once said, "Commit to." Ooh, there we go. What? Why is it working now? Oh my goodness! Why is this working? All right, let's just follow my own advice. This works. I don't understand why. We have a billboard. Let's okay, it's not also clear. Okay, so I'm just gonna. I don't care. I'm not doing that again. Okay, cool. Git status. Billboards, work in progress. Billboards, spherical. Whatever. I'm the one writing the commits. Who cares about spelling mistakes? Added to the engine. We need to make sure that textures and position work too. There is a bug with loading textures. For some reason, you need to load a texture inside the GUI class struct. Right, cool. Oh, we need to get rid of them. We don't have these. Okay, so we're just going to add that as well. So we've got a commit here. We just got to. Okay, so we'll remove them. We'll remove them in another commit. So I'm just going to push that. Cool. You'll be better doing yeah, 100%. I don't mind spamming commits either. I don't know why I just didn't decide to write. Yeah, same. That's the thing. That's yeah. Angelica has got it. Angelica is a cutie's got it. Right there. It's like I want to be done when I've committed, but obviously that's not the case. It's like a psychological thing. That's the only reason I didn't commit. So now we got a base to work with. Let's slowly restore things back up to standard and work out what this bug is about. So the next thing I actually need to remember to do is delete these things that I've added by accident. So we don't want that, and we've got a billboard. I think it's in graphics actually. We've got these files that I accidentally committed, so these can go away. Right, okay, so next is, does this work with the texture? I'm not going to commit like everything, but what we're going to do is just do this and see, do we still see something? I like that. Yeah, commits are just, oh, yes, that is probably a, right. Unable to import file. Okay, so yes, our CMake needs to be updated. Scroll up. Actually, we just need to regenerate. Regenerate. Yeah, so once we've done this, we'll be our basic. We have a project. Sorry, what is it called? Yeah, it's a project. What am I saying? Compile shaders that is dependent. That void is dependent on, which compiles the shaders. Surprising no one. But if I don't, have you regenerated? What are you doing? Yes, reload. Thank you. I don't know why that took so long. Right, build. Okay, cool. Now let's have a look. Okay, cool. We have the stupid texture working. Next is, well, the debug texture. That tells me like what's going on, and it seems to be doing the right thing because it's got the red arrow in the bottom corner. So, what do we need next is to go into, what is it called? The GUI for some reason. Where's the UI gone? Yeah, I'm just going to go to game here because I'm kind of a bit lost. Yes, we have scene, and then here, for some reason, we need to load the textures weirdly. I wonder if... So, particles... This copy reference thing is just messing everything up. Alright, so it's not here, but I think that's because the texture. We might be doing it upside down. So I'm just going to get rid of this for now. And if it's not this, then it's something else. I'm kind of rushing a bit here. Yeah, okay, so... Sorry, that's my Windows noise. Right, let's go and remove something from the engine for real quick. This line here. I think that's messing things up. Nope. Okay. And why is this the case? Let's look at button position 0 maybe. Right, so nope, okay. Right, so 3 was supposed to be how it works. Yeah, it's just my resource handling. I think it's not working very well. Just checking out my, just making sure everything's good on my end. Hang on. Cool. Just got to, sorry, just checking something out there. Sorry about that. Okay, so what I think's happening here is the texture is just rendering alpha pixels, which is confusing to me because I thought we solved this problem ages ago. So what I think I'm going to do is get a checkered pattern from Google instead. Checkered. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I like doing so Angelica is a cutie said I like AI doing some things for me. It unlocks my train of thought special ability. That makes sense, yeah. But not beta pixels, poor beta pixels, yes. Yes, we want our beta pixels. I don't really care which one, I just want to make sure it's like not super. Right, I'll do. I kinda like blue. No, this is not going to work. The reason that... Okay, that's not going to work. Sorry. I just realized something. Oh, I'm an idiot. I just realized I'm realizing lots of things all at once. We already have a texture that does this. I don't need to do anything. I literally called it debug, right? Yeah, that. So what are we rendering here? Yeah, we literally did this. Okay, cool. Oh, come back. Okay, so what on earth's that? So if we load up, nope, none of these. Yeah, let's just open up the image. I don't have to do anything interesting. Build, assets, textures. Where on earth would that be? Let's go full screen. I think we're off the edge actually, which is annoying because I don't understand why. Okay, so if I do 0, 0, what does that look like? Oops, wrong thing. That's for the main menu. Leave that alone. Okay, so what we need to do... Get some water. And then... we need to make sure that when we are clipping this from 0, 0, because that would make sense, but I don't know where we are on this image. Okay, so we've got a scribbly thing there. As far as I can tell, that puts us here. So if we move up by 1, where are we? Oh, interesting. We're too big. Ah, right. Okay, we're way too big. Okay. Cool. Oh, what am I doing? Just replace these. Yeah, 126. 128 is too big, and I think I kind of starting to understand why this bug. This bug's been around for ages, actually. So we should now see that we're at least getting something. Okay, so that is about here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe? I'll try 5. And hopefully we'll get everything kind of sorted. No, we fell off the edge. Okay, so we'll go with 4. So the sampler is sampling past the texture, and that just goes in a straight line, right? So that's at least telling us that. So, nope. Equally just as bad. 3. Nice texture, thank you. It's a way of at least working out where we are on the texture. Okay, there we go. That's perfect. That's exactly what we needed. Now, if I disable... Okay, we're ignoring that for a minute. If we're not using the debug texture... And I go into here, and... Where is it? Oh no, wrong. And we have the non-debug version. We now have a regular looking billboard. Okay, so next. So I don't know if I should commit that. I'm super like paranoid now. So we know that works, but I think this breaks it. I think we're okay for now. This doesn't work. This does not work. I don't know what it does, but it ruins this texture. Oh no, wait. Why is it working now? Oh, I don't know. Okay, that made it work before, and now it's fine. Okay, fine. I guess we'll keep going. Bro, I would have just put the same put in the natural LUT image. Seems oh right, yeah, just put that one in. Yeah. Okay, so the position now, yeah, and we're not deleting everything, which is fine. Okay, cool. Cool. So I'm going to commit this shortly. We've done that, and what I want to try to do next. Are you doing deferred rendering? Not yet. So I think I'm going to put that off until a bit later into the engine. But I might even do forward plus. I haven't decided yet. I've done deferred rendering before, so I'm very much leaning towards that. And then we'll have like a nice slim, hopefully a slim G buffer where we can just have that as the main render pass and then build up a nice little graph for ourselves. But yeah, that is to yet be the reason I haven't put that in. I don't know much about forward plus, so I can't tell you which version, sadly. Someone was saying why not forward plus, and I was like, yeah, well, I haven't actually looked into the pros and cons of each and which one would be best for my engine. So anyway, the reason I haven't put like these in the game engine yet is because I can push the engine's renderer quite aggressively and it doesn't slow down at all. So I want to make sure, I want to move further on with the game and then see, yeah, you have to do deferred. Basically, you only do deferred with opaque and then do a forward approach with transparency. That's effectively what I did last time. So I set up different passes where I had like deferred rendering, and then I would do a G buffer and all that kind of stuff for the opaque objects, and then a separate pass for transparency, which would come after. So that means the opaque was all rendered and stuff, and then we had the transparency, which is all nice. But right now we are just doing the simplest painter algorithm approach to this, where we're just sticking the 2D image basically at the end of the scene. So yeah, let's continue. We have got a sprite sheet, we have got a sprite offset. We've done all this. Yeah, I'm going to commit. Again, I'm just do not want to lose all this. We want to be in good state, so... Oh, sorry. Work in progress. Billboards. Have textures. And we are using a transparent texture to fake a sphere. Bug still exists from the previous commits. Right, okay, so... Oh, when we removed a bunch of stuff, yeah. Currently I do dithering transparency since I do not care too much about photorealism. Nice. Yeah, well, that's like a stylistic approach. I think I'm going to do a full, or just have a flag for dithering. But dithering is good for optimization anyway. You know, distance-based dithering is good. So I'm probably eventually will have both, so I don't have to do a bunch of stuff. So yeah, let's what's next? We need to now reactivate the menu. That's the big problem child on this. If I can get the menu to work, and where's the main, and everything kind of stabilizes, then I'm really happy. So we're getting there, one step closer at a time. And then we can finally start making particles, finally. Or at least start doing more advanced billboards so we can do... Okay, so it needs to be flipped. What am I doing? That's exit, which is fine. Okay, so we still have that. Fantastic. Right. Yeah, what I'm going to do, I think, is always flip the Y, but I'm not sure if flipping the Y always... Hang on, let me debug something real quick. So in the 2D renderer, we have a very simple piece of code that just flips the Y. Now that fixes the menu, but I think it disables the... What is it called? I think we get the... Oh no, we still get that. Interesting. Okay. Good. Very good. Next is the position. I'm going to get the position working now so we can actually change the position of this fella. Oh, this song is so peak. I put this in the game engine as like a temporary song. I don't play it because the game engine does have sound, by the way. Yip tag. Forward plus is basically the best of both worlds. If it allows you to do deferred, it allows you to render a lot of lights and deferred effects while retaining the pros of forward rendering. Okay, well if it's that good, then I'm going to use it. Yeah, this is the thing. I'm going to be picking the thing that makes the most sense. I know how to do deferred, but I'm also not going to be dogmatic either. If for some reason deferred rendering works for me, and even if forward plus is considered the meta nowadays. Okay, cool. I think it's still at 0, 0 though, so it didn't change anything. So let's change the position. Then I will change things up. So this will be... Where is this actually accessed? Oh no, you can only hear... Okay. Okay. Okay, for everyone in chat, you've got to listen to this. Like, this might be a bit loud, but it is peak. Actually, it's a bit loud, a bit quiet. Oh, let's start again. So hopefully you can hear that. We'll just do this one thing, right? Isn't this song so good? I didn't realize my volume was at 20. I do apologize. I had music playing the whole time. I think this is a bit loud, but the song is too good, so. It was played in Biscuit. No, it's like an underground... I've never actually played it. It's like a MMO. Sorry, MMO. RPG, sorry. Lufia 2, I think. Yeah. On the SNES. So it's like no one's ever played it before. It's like well, obviously people have, but I think it's one of these RPGs that slipped under the radar. Anyway, so let's change the position. Alright, let's see. Should be far away and high up. Or where's it gone? I think maybe I put it too far away. Okay, let's put it back at 1, 1. Alright. Okay, so yes, position is changing. We do have position change. Okay, I'm going to commit that. Also, it's not too loud at all. Okay, cool. Yeah, as long as you can hear me and I'm not having to yell over it, then it's all chill. Okay, so this is 46. Okay. Yeah. Not that anyone was complaining, but The fact that there's no music. That's what I meant. So we're going to commit that to git add, git commit, fixed the billboard bug texturing issue. Work in progress as there is still. Yeah, just in case I will turn it down just a touch. Let's see the audio levels. No, it's too quiet now. Screw it. We'll leave it there. Anyway, there's still a there is still unfreed memory. That says member. Okay, cool. Git push. Fantastic. So we got another nice commit up there to the internet. Right. Next we're gonna do radius. So we're gonna increase the size of the guy. And I want to see that with kind of. I'm just gonna hard code it in the shader because I actually don't know. So as far as I'm aware, if I take this and go like 20, that's going to increase the size. It's the leaf. It's the leaf repository. Huh? Ah, right. Okay, so that broke it. Oh, no. What? Interesting. Why did that do that? I'm back. Hello, Carl. Yeah. How you doing? Hopefully you have a... Yeah, not bad. We got Billboards back in the game without everything breaking. We unfortunately have 124 bytes. This looks suspicious. I remember this. We are not freeing a resource. I'm back too. Hello. Welcome back. Right, okay, so we have... Okay, so for the people who've just come back, I've been battling with resource handling. Now we can have 2D renderers doing 2D things at the same time. With a billboard, very good, right? Yay! But now we have a resource leak. Hi, Emmanuel. Right, okay, so let's think about this. So I don't think this increased the radius at all. It increased the size. But in the maths, I think we had to do something special. Yeah, so we only have the basics, right? We don't have the next stage, which is what I was planning to do, but hey... There we go. Have you just used delete array? That would be useful if I was using the C++ allocators. I'm not using them. Stack trace is telling me that I've not deallocated something, and I've just got to think about what that might be. It looks like it's the size of a texture though. That yeah, how's it going? Yeah, it's not bad. Sorry, let me think for a minute though. Where is this deletion happening? So it's in the 2D renderers. Ah, I know what's happened. I think go back to game, and let's get into our shutdown. Okay, so no, that is there. Everything's shut down. And what about main menu? Texture atlas, shut down. Is there another resource in here? I mean, do not ever use delete array. It opens memory leaks. Does it? Oh, okay. I don't... I'm going to say I trust you, but can you verify that? Trust but verify approach here. Because I haven't heard that before. Use constructors or destructors. What happens if you have atomic types? Like, not atomic types. In what are they called? Just like floats, ints. You know what I mean? Doubles. All right. So we have a positional buffer device address handle. We have textures, atlas. What am I trying to do here? Hang on, give me a minute. Oh, I think I know how to make this bigger. I just need to make the size bigger, right? Or is that even a thing? Give me a minute. Oh, we clean up resources. Literally, stop. Yeah, concentrate. Does it? Yeah, okay. So it's only. That's good. So it's only in the game stuff that we're missing something. Do we have a GPU shutdown or something? You know, I should check as well. We should uncomment all this and give this a run. Yeah, everything's kind of working normally. Thank goodness. And the depth is working correctly, which is nice. Cool. And we are still... What is the value? So it has... The value is in 8 bytes. So it's in 8 bytes, okay. And... 8 bytes, 8 bytes, 8 bytes. What would that be? I just haven't deleted something, and I don't know what it is. The reason is that you use delete array twice or without resizing. He's not really having multiple owners though. No, I'm using my own allocator. I have not yet studied free yet. I have no idea. Going to reach 3K already. Impressive. Keep grinding. Thanks. Yeah, it's been a huge shock recently, honestly. It's very much appreciated that all the new people. Like I said, I think I said this in the Discord. I expected the last. I think the last video is bringing in people. If you're unfamiliar, I've made a video that I think's. It's not like gone viral or anything. I'm not going to say anything like that. But it's got more popular than I would have realized, basically. And yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah, sure. Heisenberg, good to see you, my man. There we go. We have this blue thing. Very cool. It's called a billboard. Bit of transparency, but that's only because it's a 2D and rendered last. So yeah, it renders on both sides correctly. Transparency wise, anyway. We'll turn that into a particle eventually, so there'll be more going on there. Anyways, so is it your own memory allocator or for your... Yeah, that's exactly it. I've got a memory tracer that's telling me that something's wrong. I've missed something. It doesn't, unfortunately, it's not smart enough to tell me the object name. But we shall see. Shut down. What am I missing? So it's not in here, because that wouldn't make any sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my GitHub real quick and just see my my own GitHub. Who made that video? And we're going to go into here. Yes, I pushed to that 7 minutes ago. So this is, again, this is all linked in. The description. Yes, it is facing the right way. So I'm just going to look at my Git. So we're in the master branch at the moment. So this is not the most up to date, which is by design. I just wonder if I've deleted something by accident. So we pause the device because we're going to do a lot of deleting here. We have the buffers. Maybe there is something I've missed. Does the GPU need to shut down? Hang on a minute. I'm just going to make sure this has shut down as well. I actually don't think it does anything, but... Okay, yeah, it doesn't shut down. It doesn't have anything to shut down, apparently. Which is kind of suspicious. Let me look into this a bit. What are you doing here? Okay, so you really don't have anything. You don't have any ownership over some objects. Okay. Oh, yes. Yes, okay, so, yes, Kalia, I see what you're saying. Yeah, this song is big, isn't it? We'll be good. Okay, so, I want to get this done. Come on, think. Think. So I think we're missing something here, maybe? So if I go to graphics and go into 2D renderer, is there something here that I'm missing? Yeah, destroy text, destroy quads. Yeah, oh, no, it's positional buffers. Interesting. I wonder if... Hang on. Okay, so that's... I don't think that's it. No. I'll have to check that in a release. I wonder if we got a dangling pointer there. But anyway, we shut down this. What we could do is just do what I usually do in this situation, which is kind of just go, okay. we take everything out of the engine and then slowly introduce it back in. So I'm going to do that. This is a bit of a pain in the neck, but it's honestly the most convenient way to do it if you're not sure what you've not deleted. I have... This is not any different, is it? Ah, right, okay. I know what it is. I know what it is. Okay, this is like a non-issue. If we're going to build our scene, we're going to have to do it anyway, so okay. Yeah, that reminded me. We have a player, and we're not deleting the player. Even though it's not doing anything. Where's the player? Here it is. So eventually we'll have this make sense. Yeah, this is constantly tripping me up, this. Okay, cool. That was it. That was definitely it, because I 100% know. So if I do this, we have that still. And there we go. Okay, cool. So let's get rid of the crash on close bug. Let's give this a give. Add. What did we do there? Forgotten. Oh yeah, we enabled everything. And oh yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. That's my Windows noise. I'll add all that. Got everything working with a basic spherical. I wonder why people hate programming Vulkan. Billboards. Okay, cool. So that should be good. Fantastic. Give that a push. I've been studying C++ for 5 months, using Strawstrup's resources and C++ core guide only. I'm only fresh in the field. Yeah, it's good to well, yeah, that's why I say I trust you, but I would, if you verify what you're saying, then we can figure out stuff. Yeah, but then it ties to lifetime scope, which may or may not be what you want in the scenario, like passing an array into a function without move semantics. Yeah. I haven't done much C++. Yeah, delete. Yeah, just deleting in general is kind of tough. I use C for Vulkan mostly. But you're right, using destructors over... Yes. I am not even doing... I barely use destructors. I use a shutdown functions instead, which are like... they just allow me to construct objects when I want to, not when the compiler decides it's a good idea. Which sometimes can be good. Because I can like make an object and then instantiate all its stuff at an appropriate time rather than like at the beginning of a function call or something like that, right? Right. Okay. So we ended up debugging textures instead today, but for the most part we got this far, which is good. So we have now everything's kind of good now. Next thing is to get this to move like with physics or something. I don't know what we're gonna do. I'm probably not gonna use a physics engine. I need to look into particles and get this to work in different ways. Obviously, if you get too close to the camera, the what is it called? The particle gets all weird. But when you're far away, because we've only got a basic spherical stuff anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna share my Discord server with anyone who's watching, who's new. We have a lovely community in our... You got to go? Okay, see you in a minute. Enjoy the rest of the scene, will do. So yeah, that's the end of the stream. So we're about to end it here as well. Just because it's 5 o'clock. This is the end. It was a bit of a shorter stream, but I had to clean up my computer's hard drive. It was a mess. Oh, hello again. You're still streaming. Yes, we're just about to end the Boorah. Thank you for joining us, though. It was a pleasure to have you here. You've got to go. You've got to go indeed. Yes, thank you all for commenting and keeping me company while I code today. It was very nice of you. Yes, I wish you all the best, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. All right. Bye, guys. Bye. 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 Have a great day as well. Bye.